DGBA coaches and fans. Welcome to the DGBA Speed Boost Power Rankings for Season 11. I am your Commissioner Jack here, and joining me today for the Power Rankings, we have our Speed Boost admin, Haz. Haz, you want to say hi?
No, I just want to say I have nothing positive to say about these teams. All these teams are fucking dreadful.
Yep, that sounds about right. And we also joined by our new Speed Boost moderator and coach, Jeremy. Jeremy, you want to say hi?
Yeah, I do want to say hi because I'm actually, I got taught manners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Regardless, I do have to say I agree with Has because otherwise he will beat me.
Yes.
I'm just saying honesty. Honesty is the best policy, and if you're expecting us to say that your team's really good, you're gonna be in
You
for
know,
a long ride
For sure.
because
yeah,
even the number one team is not very good.
For
The
sure.
the drafting this season speed boost. I don't know what's happened,
Yeah.
but all these teams they aren't it.
So for those that are new here or don't know how power rankings work, what the three of us did is we did an individual list for our 16. We listed every team 16 through 1, and we averaged out our three lists to have a combined list, which you're going to see here for our slide presentation here. And yeah, but even if it's 16 through 1, every team is still bad and should all be of 16. But yeah,
Maybe we should be more positive. You know,
maybe.
I feel like we're being really down right now.
we'll take it. Is there
Nah.
anything else we need to say, or we just want to get right into it?
Let's just get this over with.
Okay, all right. So our first team here, we have the Icky Town Incineroar with our good pal Coach Oak, who drafted a team here. He's got Melmetal, Clefable, Reuniclus, Kiram, Almamoa, Ditto, Incineroar, Holucha, Ulumis, Electabuzz, Yamask, Galar, and Mega Venusaur. I have no idea what this team is. Does anyone want to try and explain this to me? Any people?
Okay. All right. I think this starts off okay. I mean, I don't know. I guess on the wheel, Melmetal's fine. Or I think he was near the wheel. I think Melmetal's fine for like maybe a first pick, especially if you like just want to try it out. I mean, I think it's. I don't think it's an amazing one, but I think it can definitely like do things. But I think it's like overall versatility is why I don't think it's like an amazing first pick. But if you just want to try it out, I can respect it. I think Clefable's a decent pairing with that, and then like Reuniclus and Kirim, I think that's like a really good starting core. And then after that, it kind of goes downhill a bit. I mean, I can understand Aloe with Melmetal, but I just and then I felt he gets Ditto really early, and then he gets like I guess Incineroar's an okay
He got the
pick.
mascot. He got the mascot.
He
That's
got
I
the
mean,
mascot,
Incineroar is pretty good here.
I think Incineroar is
yeah.
awesome.
And then he gets I don't know why he got Horlucha this early, and then he didn't get it with terrain. I don't know if
Yeah,
he
that was
just got
weird.
sniped
I'll,
or another
I, th
mon.
I think I think I can sum this team up pretty well. So basically, he gets like a first round pick that is not a first round pick because it's kind of bad, but like I get that you want to use stuff, like new stuff, so like
Hmm.
it's whatever. Paired with Clefable, Clefable was kind of broken because it's Clefable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Then Uniclus is really good, as has said, Kyurem too. Then Alo's kind of weird, and Ditto is like w way early. Incineroar, pretty good here. And then he just realizes it's like, I need speed. But then he gets Hawlucha for like, I mean, I
15
guess you want speed.
points.
I guess you want
For,
speed, but like you're using so many points for a mon that's not even complete. Like, of course you can use like the I don't know what the items exactly are, but like for like Sky Attack and like CC to not
Yeah.
Power
to
Herb
drop the Power
Power
Herb
or
and
Herb.
stuff
Power
like
Herb,
that.
White Herb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do Yeah, those things. Uh, I guess I can do those too, but like the defense boosts on Halusha are like really nice to have if you do actually want like it's not you're not getting the complete mon or the complete value of the mon out of it. And then later on he grabs Electabuzz because there's a very big gap in between that. But Electabuzz is not really actually a mon with 105 speed, and you're not really gonna bring it that much. Then he got like his last four picks, except for Mega Venusaur, are basically never coming to a game. And if they do, then it's very niche.
I just realized is this ground type Yamask-Gower? Or am I just
Uh, y-
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
oh
yes.
no.
I don't know what does Gala your mask
I
even do.
have no idea. Zero clue. Then maybe he gets rocks, so Clefable isn't his only rocker. I
Yeah, but I mean, Clefable is his only rock. Pretty much, Clefable is his only
yeah.
rocker, and like even his removal is like Holucha Illumise, which is
Yeah. I
I'm
wasn't
sorry,
I did
I
that's
think
not good at
yeah.
all.
Hmm.
I think the problem with this team is that it's like for example, JP's team from last season was very stally and like I don't know, I'm not too sure if it was slow, but it was very stally. And this goes kind of that way, only it's not stall and it's not
I
he's like trying too much to have a balanced core, but it's more stally and it just doesn't really work out.
yeah. He has a lot of mons that are like cut dry. You kind of just know what they're gonna you know what they're likely gonna do every week. There isn't really
Yeah,
anything
yeah. I don't think he
surprisingly
has like many like flexible mons on this team.
yeah.
You can basically run like taunt on your mon
Hmm.
and
Just
he'll
it's
shut down like
entirely
eight.
taunt food.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah, like you said earlier, I think the speeds, like his like really fast bombs, like Electabuzz isn't like gonna pressure much speeds, and he has like then he has the Holucha, which I mean, if it's getting the unburden boost again, that's like
it doesn't really
people aren't
matter
gonna
at that
really
point.
creep it that much. So then essentially the one that the fastest one you have to creep is like regular Kyurem, which is pretty awful. I think Melmetal's also pressured a fair bit. I think it's his only rock resist. And then I think it's also pressured to take like some of the flying hits. Because I think his only other flying resist is Electabuzz, which isn't a terrible flying resist,
He,
but
he also really doesn't have a ground resist.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's true. I think yeah, I don't think this team like good ground types either.
So a typical segment we do is fix this team. Is there any way to fix this team? Because I feel
I
like
have to look at the doc for a second for this.
I just feel like the problem with
um
trying to fix this team is you'd have to make a load of changes to
Hmm.
this team to really like change. Because the overall changing one or two mons, I don't feel isn't really going to change the main structure of how this team wants to
I
sort of work
think
and what's each.
you bribe someone for Tapu Koko.
Hello, hello.
then
Okay, you have my
then
number.
um then you bribe whoever has Suicune
Chess.
potentially.
So he's bribing
Cheers.
admins. Okay.
Then you get rid of one mod because you need the points. Um, and you just hope for the best
Could
by
he?
I
dropping
think
some mods.
you probably have to. I feel like Ditto's okay if you have a lot of mons which fill a lot of roles.
I
But
think
this team doesn't have those kinds of mons, so I feel like you if you drop Ditto, you can get like more value out of like maybe getting like a better ground type, for
I think
example.
this team would be fine if it dropped some of the niche mons and then like Illumise,
Yeah,
Electabuzz, and
Yeah,
Lemons.
I was gonna say maybe you could drop all three of those mons, Illumi, Selective, Yamask, Galar, to get maybe one sort of solid mon. I don't know how many points that equivalents to, but
Let's say okay, I'm just gonna put a random guess. Let's say you can get like Lycanroc Day. That already helps a ton. Like
yeah, that's some
I'm
speed.
not gonna lie.
exactly.
Another rock.
Rocks
Yeah,
because like his rocker
that's
is
not terrible.
Clefable and that's it.
Yeah,
Or Yamask, sorry. Gotta
yeah.
gotta you know
But who knows, guys?
shout it out.
Maybe Coach Oak will make this team work.
I mean, there are definitely mons that can like
Yeah,
get wins for him, and like
Around
I can see this thing being kind of iffy to like prep around, but it's just got too many holes
I think
that
we
I think
forgot
it's
one
just
I think
exploited.
we forgot one very important thing about this draft. That
What?
his Sneasel is like pretty good here.
Oh yes, of course. Bro, if he had the Sneasel, that's the speed is fixed.
That's actually kind
okay.
of
Do we have
true.
anything else to say?
No wonder,
Okay, maybe we
no
should just
wonder he
move on.
took it.
Oh
Yeah, I
man.
think we can move on.
Yeah.
Fine, we can move on. We have Coach Oak at 16 here. Going to our number 15 slot, we have Techno and the Carolina Panther. I can't pronounce that. I'm gonna butcher it.
Pantherians.
Pantherians. Thank you.
Pantherians.
And his team consists of Celesteela, Keldeo, Zarude, Shiny Zarude, I think,
Yeah,
Nidoking, Sylveon, Claydol, Torkoal, Selgor, Mega Glalie, and Mimikyu. wants to start on this team?
I think Jeremy can because I don't know what to
Okay.
start.
All right. All right. All
Um,
right.
I think a big part. So a big part about a lot of teams is that you hit like certain speed tiers at some point, like above 100. You obviously want to hit 100 a lot of the time, or like about 100, um, and about 110, or above 110 at least. Like a funny eye is fair as well. Um, but he doesn't have it, so like any mon that is 110 or above outspeeds his whole team except for a Selgor, and I think that already sums it up really badly. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't.
Oh,
It,
I just realized this team's gonna have a rotomon. I forgot to put it in this
Oh.
slides.
Oh, there is a.
Let
Yeah,
me
there is
let
a
me
rotation.
quickly fix that. I can put a random rotomo in there.
Okay.
But carry on, carry on.
um, either way, I think that I like his team kind of. It's in a weird way because
Oh,
nice. You can have me slow that tiny. Yeah. So Celesteela, obviously a
I'll just
very
put it
bulky.
there.
It's a very good mon. Keldeo has gotten buffed, so that's pretty nice. Zarude is new, and I think it can be pretty good. It depends on like I
Yeah.
don't know. If anyone is gonna make like Zarude work like the first time, it's gonna be Techno. I think because
Yeah.
it can like
Yeah.
kind of be like a bit surprising. Nidoking is very good this meta, and then Sylveon. I'm not very big on Sylveon, but I can appreciate it. And from there, it's kind of a few meh mons. Like Claydol is kind of
Yeah.
usable. I can get why Torkoal is there. I can get why sort of Excelgor is there. Megdalady's kind of cool, and Mimikyu is a little bit underrated, I think, because of the nerf that it got to the skies.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the team just has a few big weaknesses that just don't um, have like it just doesn't fix the holes in the team like at all.
Okay, I'm gonna list some mons. You tell me what they all have in common. Okay, Celesteela, Zarude, Rotomo, um, Mega Glalie, and Excelgor. What do they all have in common?
I was gonna say Leaf Seed at first, but I don't think that's
They
not the
check
answer.
ground types.
I have no idea.
They check ground
Well, they're
types.
all weak to fire, and he has
Oh
the
yeah,
Oh
sunny,
yeah, true.
the fire
and he
one.
has a
Yeah.
drought mon. He has 5 mons weak to fire. And I think it's
Oh
only
yeah, yeah. I remember that.
I did remember that in
I
my
mean,
notes.
he has a Sylveon to kind of check
Yeah.
them.
No,
well,
he's pretty weak to
I
fire.
don't know if Sylveon checks fire types.
Mhm.
It depends. If drought is not up, then a lot of special fire types can, or like an Infernape, it can check if it's dodging the gunk shot.
I mean, I guess.
Play for your win cons, dodging moves.
Yeah,
My
dude.
thing with this team is just I've never really seen a team like this. I just don't know how every week it's gonna like come together to I guess
Yeah,
all work together in a team to execute whatever win con you have. Like I don't feel like every week it's like, oh yeah, Middle King's just gonna win me the game, or oh Keldio's gonna win me the game. I don't know if I really rate Celesteal this gen anymore without Z moves. I think it's pretty sort of
As a win con, no, but
yeah.
it's still
yeah,
very good
it's a
defensively.
defensive mon that's improved. There's like
It's
offensive mon that's a bit
it is
worse.
improved. He's got like I guess Sylveon to really pair with it. You know, it's really the only I guess defensive core. I guess you can this is Celesteal
Yeah,
Sylveon core. There's nothing really else to
Hey, 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 hey,
add to
hey, hey.
it.
He has a Claydol, pal.
Okay, the Claydol, I guess yes,
Claydol
does have it.
Torkoal core. I
Claydol
mean,
core.
I do appreciate the spin support he has with. He has a lot of like hazard stack, which I
Yeah.
can see being nice on this team.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's just I think like what um Jack said, like you don't expect, and maybe Zarude can fit that role. Um, we don't really know Zarude's place in the meta, but like Glalie is a
Yeah,
wall breaker. Mimikyu doesn't usually sweep depending on how you set it up. It can obviously sweep with Shadow Sneak and SD, but it's not made to sweep as much.
Yeah.
Um, then Nidoking is a breaker. Celesteela isn't really a win con anymore, and Keldeo isn't gonna have the best matchups every single game. So it's like kind of like where is your win con and where are you gonna find it?
Yeah. I think.
yeah, and
Sorry.
sorry, go
I was just gonna say. Oh, fuck, what was I gonna say?
on. Oh,
It'll
um,
come.
Fine.
It'll come. It'll come.
whoops.
You can go. You can go.
Okay, I was gonna say a couple of other weaknesses I've noticed with his team is I think it's a bit flying weak. I know he has Celesteela, but that's kind of his own only like bird spam check, and he's like a couple mons also like weak to flying. And the other thing is that his only ghost resist loses to U-turn,
Hmm. Yeah.
which
Oh
I
yeah,
think
so
is great.
basically Dragapult
Yeah, Dragapult is feasting.
Jackal looks like fun
or
versus too.
like look up Blacephalon in this team. It's just like
Hmm.
it
Mm.
claims one.
It does. My
Like
point.
I
Or my point
mean,
now. Sorry. Yeah. Keep going.
yeah, go on.
I was just say, yeah. If anyone's to prove us wrong with a kind of team like this that we don't really know how it's gonna work, I think it would be Techno to be the person
Yeah,
to
of
do that. To
course,
be
of
honest.
course. Yeah.
Of course, he's a great coach, great player, and I think he could find some cool niches with all these mons to sort of create sort of an interesting team that you maybe don't really know how to
Mm.
expect he's going to execute the win con every week.
Dude, I got Techno on my schedule. I am so scared for a Torkoal WinCon. I am not
The
having fun.
Shell Smash Torkoal. It's coming to 6-0 Jeremy.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Do we have anything else on Techno's draft? I don't think I have anything else.
I don't think so.
Mega
Uh,
barely won that last TTM tour. That's all I have to say.
oh yeah.
So
Oh,
that's true.
true, true.
Do we
It
think
must
he
be a
needs
broken
to
car.
make any changes to the team? Is there anything that?
I mean, he's 15, and these teams aren't good, so I'd say probably. But I
Probably.
mean, if he, I mean, I've heard that he likes using like some whack teams,
Yeah, he has
and
a
he
lot
can
of
like
new stuff
make
in
it
here. It
work.
seems he has probably some new stuff in
Yeah.
here with Keldeo
So
and
I
Poison.
guess we'll have to see like how it functions pretty much before.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I definitely think there can be improvements made.
Hmm. All right, we good to move on?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so moving on here, we're moving on to 14, and we have Parksy here, coach of the Arma Armaldos. His team.
Everyone's unsubscribing now. We've put Poxy only at
Sub
14.
to
Insane.
Parksy, sub to Parksy.
His team consists of Landers Therian, Cinderace, Darmanitan Gower, Primarina, Deoxys Defense, Scolipede, Komala, Kaparaja, Breloom, Umbreon, and Mega Ampharos. I mean, I guess I can start on this team. I was sort of I think on my list I put this at 14, I believe, and when I first saw the team, I thought it was like really bottom tier, not very good. But I do think there is something there with the first three with Lando T, Cinderace, Darm Gower, in the sense that those are all very potent mons. They can easily put a ton of offensive pressure on teams, and you could get stuck into a vortex of just Parksy setting up a hazard with a rock or a spike, and just getting stuck into this constant U-turn core of all three of those. The main thing, though, of course, is that a good water type does sort of check all those three, and he's got a Breloom and a Mega Ampharos to try and deal with those waters, which I do rate Breloom. It's a pretty good mon, but Mega Ampharos is something you can rely on every week. Um, and like the only mon I feel really comfortable swapping into a water type attack is maybe Umbreon or Primarina.
I
Really,
mean, Poison Heal Breloom can do it, but that's kind of
yeah, you don't
it's
want to
not.
bring that every week, and it's
Yeah.
a bit predictable. His yeah, he just doesn't have like I don't know. After the, I did like the first three, but after that, he sort of started the draft a bit more balanced, and I would have liked maybe a little bit more offense to pair with the front three. I don't know, but they're all very similar since none of the first three really deal the best with water types. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, maybe that can also help him, because like water types are like pressured to deal with all three of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Mm-hmm. I don't think I had anything else I can think of.
Um, I I think I think like the kind of the downfall of his draft is like where he picked Mons exactly. Like
Yeah.
I'm not like hugely against like people picking Mons early as much as like some other people, but I mean I think Lando T isn't like as good this gen compared to last gen, but I think you can maybe justify getting it round one if you're like towards the end of the wheel because you can pair Lando T up with a lot of like really good Mons.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a one that you can like easily fit and create like a really good core with. But I feel like he kind of missed an opportunity by picking up like Cinderace up like way earlier than he probably should have. And I also
Oh
think
yeah,
the Primarina round 4 was also a bit early, so I think he maybe could have got some better mons and waited on
yeah,
those two a bit later.
and for the record, that is not a Libra Cinderace. That is
Yeah, yeah. Just to be clear,
definitely
it's a
boost.
police Cinderace.
He did get.
So
But I
you
mean,
got
they're both still pretty good mons. But I just think he could have waited a bit more, and then his team maybe could have been a bit more like um threatening.
Yeah. He did get.
you saw Dave you saw
Uh,
Dave's poison point team from last season. And you're like, yes, he won with it. Let's go. That was his first pick. Yes, let's do it.
he did get that Darmanitan Gower round 3, which right now
Yeah.
seems to be a pretty. People have lots of different opinions on this mod in the draft league community right
Mm.
now.
I was
Right.
I nearly took it, to be honest, but I was like, this one kind of feels like a bait.
Yeah.
I just feel for its price, it just doesn't. It's like it's a really good breaker, but it just doesn't have enough sets for me to like justify taking it at 70 points. But that being said, like by the time it was like round 3, like I think like from Parksy's point of view, I think it was kind of a no brainer just to like take a shot on it, especially because he got Cinderace like round 2. I think it definitely helps.
I mean, talking about I guess some resists maybe his 2 flying resists or Mega Ampharos and Carparaja, which I don't know. Aren't I guess mons you're always bringing, to be honest. They're not like the most.
Yeah, I'm more big on Copraja just because I don't think it's like a reliable defensive steal as
I
such.
just think, like looking at his team, Deoxys is like the only thing stopping like any psychic just from going ham.
Mm.
He has an
And
Umbreon, which, but yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I understand what like a still up psychic. I actually think Deoxys D isn't
or
actually terrible.
not a psychic, but a fighting. Sorry.
Oh, fighting. Oh yeah, I can see that actually.
Like
Yeah,
I
that's
guess you have Lando, of course, but like Lando's gonna get worn down.
yeah,
Um,
and plus like you have to always be worried about Ice Punch as well.
yeah, like a Medicham can ice punch the Lando and it's dead, so he needs to Deoxys to switch into it. And Deoxys is not that hard of a mod to check. I think people have shown over the
Yeah,
course of
I mean,
time.
I think on
Fine.
this team, like, it's not pressure to spike stack. I think he has like a few other stealth rockers which he could use as well. So I think it could maybe like have like a couple more roles on this team because I feel like I feel like the reason like DoD has like such a bad rep is just more because of the way people use it rather than the mon itself. Like I don't think the mon itself is like amazing, but I feel like it definitely has potential. It's just really hard for it to show its potential sometimes,
Yeah.
especially on like certain teams.
Yeah. Also, maybe not the biggest problem, but his 2 ground resist and immunity is only Lando T Breloom. And it's not like the weakest to ground. A lot of monsters just get hit neutrally, but ground spam does look relatively 3 with like an extra coverage meter.
Yeah, unfortunately no one drafted Mama Swine, and
Yeah, I
if
was
they
just
did,
just, just gonna say
field
Mamoswine. Yeah, Mamoswine looks very good. May need to bring that air balloon Carparaja, to be honest.
but he
Yeah.
doesn't have to worry about it in this case. I think also his removals kind of, I think I spoke to Parks and he said, I have what's it called, court change Cinderace, so I'm not worried. But I don't know. I don't think that's the most reliable removal per se. And then his other removers are like Lando and Kamala, which I mean,
I
one of
yeah.
the Kamala.
I think Corgi is interesting because I think with how sort of offensive this team can play, I feel like early on in the game he could just use his offensive mons to not
It's
really
kind of
focus on trying to set hazards, and then later on just maybe use Cinderace to court change after they
it's so
learn to already use hazards. But
Yeah.
it's so weird to say that a team can play offensive when you're using Deoxys defense. To be honest.
I mean, Deoxys defense can get teleport now, which is like,
Yeah,
which I can
that's
see
true.
function well with this team. Like you teleport from Deoxys defense to Galadon, which is like really scary. I think.
I just personally think that's his best mode. I think the best way to use this team is offense with how potent Lando T Cinderace Darm Gower is. I don't think going into some like defensive shell of just using Umbreon Deoxys defense is how this team really wants to play. Maybe a couple
I
weeks,
think
but I think you want to use that first phase best you can personally.
I think you could have gotten a better electric over Kamala
I can agree
and
with
for
that.
us. Like he Like
Yeah.
if you drop those, then you get something better.
Hmm.
Um, then I think it would be even better because then you also have a Volt Switch mon even.
Yeah.
And like
Mhm.
I guess Ampharos has that, but like Ampharos is slow as shit, so it doesn't I use it much.
Yeah. Do we have anything else on Parksy's team? I think that's pretty much it.
Not really. No.
Okay. Well, Parksy. Anyway, guys, subscribe to Parksy. You know
Sub
what
to
to do.
Sub to
party.
Sub to
Parks,
Parksy.
sub to
Sub to
Parks.
Parksy. All right. So moving on
Bless.
here to 13, we have JP, and he has shout out. So yeah, what do you guys think? He's got a shout out there.
Yeah, I think there has been a mistake. Let me just correct this.
We have JP here at number one with the shout out, of course. Um, yeah, and he has some also relevant mons here with Zygarde 50%, Heatran, Tapu Bulu, Weavile, Nihilego, Fortress, Porygon Z, Blastoise, Corsola, Mega Audino, and the good old Raichu. But the main thing here is the shout out, of course, guys. Like,
Yeah, I
shout out.
think I think JP was really greedy just to draft all these other mons when all he just needs is a chatter and he just needs to click chatter and then he just six those.
Yeah,
So I
Mm-hmm.
think I think it's very very vain of JP just to think just to try to draft all these other mons, but he's just never gonna bring them because all you need is a chatter.
yeah, yeah, fair
But
Yeah,
enough.
I think that's all we have to say about this team, right? Just chatter.
I mean, maybe we should talk about these other
Hmm.
relevant mons just
Okay.
in
All right.
case. Just in
Perhaps.
case. Just in
Perhaps.
case.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
yeah.
Maybe
In case
somehow
he
an
decides to,
opponent hacks us the chat out and he has to use the other mons here.
no,
I'll
that
use
doesn't
other
Insane.
happen.
mons
That doesn't
with
happen.
fake
In case
ones.
it's more so in case he like pities his opponent. You know, he's just like, yeah, I won't bring Shadow against you, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we might need
Anyways,
some these other mons
looking
here.
at it, I remember I don't. What is Stipe's team?
Yeah. It,
Zygarde.
wa- it was this. Was you talking about the four times weakness thing?
Yeah, this
Yep.
team just has a million four times weaknesses, but at the same time, you look at them and you're like, hello, fighting type is a thing. Those four times weaknesses do not matter at all in terms of how you really. And Curse Law is not a way to check fighting types. I'm sorry. Like a good fighting type usually can deal with Curse Law on its own,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of
Yeah.
sad.
I think this team kind of needs a bulky psychic if I'm being honest. Um. I think that would definitely help this team a lot in terms of like pressure versus fighting types. I mean, I hate to bring it up again, but there is a Chatot, so I don't know why you'd ever bring a fighting type where it's just the free Chatot chatter right there, and then
Maybe,
you just have to sack them on.
maybe he can get into contact with Hiker and pick up Cresselia.
Yeah, perhaps.
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 Zygarde 50% is
But
an interesting mon now without Z moves. Do we think it's a round one pick? I think he picked it round
No.
one, right?
yeah, I think
It's interesting.
maybe a late round one, but it's kind of meh.
Yeah,
It's just an underwhelming one.
it's like late round one, early round two ish, maybe even
Yeah,
late round two. Honestly,
like the thing with like Zygarde 50 is that I think its offensive sets are a lot worse, but its defensive sets are better.
Hmm.
So I mean, there's that, and plus, I mean, I suppose you can still run stuff like Banded, like Thousand Arrows, and just like claim, versus certain teams. So I don't think it's a terrible mon. Like I definitely
oh,
think you can
definitely
like
not.
work around with it. So I think it's like okay as a round one pick.
It's just I just feel like the thing with Zygarde is I think a lot of people have sort of figured out like what the mon does. Like when it sort of first got
Yeah,
1,000 arrows in Gen 7, a lot of people were like, oh, like what the fuck do I do? Like holy shit, this thing's broken. But
right,
over
right.
time, it's just a lot of people figured out the mon. It's not got Z moves anymore. There's obviously no HP ice in the game, but even still, like I mean, to be honest, like some dragon types even check Zygarde 50%, which sounds really weird to say because you have to
Yeah.
like outrage or you have to bring what like core enforcer or something. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
you have to do some weird
I
stuff.
think didn't it get like a new dragon move? I forget what it's called.
Skill shot, skill
No,
shot.
no, not that one. It's like a really really crap one, but
I mean,
uh,
so skill shot, kind of.
it's not Dragon Tail. It's something else. I forget what it's called, but
It had
it's
Dragon
not
Tail,
very
yeah.
good.
Okay.
But it's there if you really want it.
Yeah. He does also have Bulu and Weavile, which Bulu in what was it the leak a couple months ago got obviously access to like play rough, close combat, high horsepower. I think got Darkest Slayer. So I got some
Oh yeah,
pretty good
Bulu
moves. Bulu sounds
is
pretty good now. I think.
Bulu for round three is actually kind of good because people,
Yeah.
I think people just forget that it gets those moves now.
Hmm.
Like I'm not even gonna lie. This is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I think Bulu's like very good like offensively. The issue is it still has its weaknesses defensively, which is why I think.
Um, I've used Bulu before, and I'm not gonna lie, I think like defensive Bulu is like the wave at times.
Yeah, I just think
Like,
Oh no, no, I do agree, but I think that's why like people haven't gone like overboard with like Bulu despite it getting like such a huge buff because you can still check it offensively in just like very similar ways.
um, here,
I mean, Leech Seed and Sub are like pretty good for it. Like as an offensive set,
yeah, I
it's
can
like
see
really
that.
annoying to
Yeah.
deal with for other
Um,
teams.
well, the one other thing I want to mention quickly is obviously he did also get Weavile round four, which does get access to triple axle now, which is a pretty interesting. But it's kind of hit or miss, obviously. If you only hit one time, it's
Quite
pretty.
literally.
It can be pretty shit. But I feel like, is it really a buff? Is it just a placebo that it's better now without no pursuit, or do we think it's?
Um, on I think I generally prefer Icicle Crash if I had to be honest.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so too. I think
I
it's just a
think
bit more reliable
I
than
think
Weavile.
either way, I think Weavile is a little bit slept on, even
Yeah,
without the pursuit. Like even without triple axle, I think it was a little bit slept on.
agreed.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because it's still like a Weavile, you know?
And knockoff's still
Like
really good
like
now. Obviously, everyone has heavy duty
it,
boots.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, you
exactly.
don't even then you don't need boots at times. It's just really strong while also being really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And just like knockoff is a super spammable move. Ice Shard is super, super good against Zygarde, for example, which he has on his team.
Yeah.
But for Zygarde is an example. Like having that to just KO it back if it's like not extreme speed is really nice.
Yeah, and some teams can struggle to get ice type sometimes. Obviously, some people maybe just rely on having Tekimons with HB Ice as well back in Gen
Yeah.
7. But so sometimes getting ice type can be a bit tough. But he got a good one here. I think Weavile is pretty
Just
strong.
I mean, just as a little bit of a fact, every single team we've gone over so far has had an ice. So
Yeah, but some of
I
them
don't
aren't
know,
the
Jack.
best.
I think
Some of them aren't the best.
I don't know,
Some of them
Jack.
aren't the best. Some aren't the best, in my opinion. But yeah, this is
I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, Galadam, Kirim, awful mons.
Oh well,
Okay,
Wicked
so
Blue.
one thing is, I think this team went downhill the moment he got to Fortress. Like Fortress is like okay, so Fortress, what does it do on the team? Like look at just the top five, and then look at Fortress. What does it add? Spikes. That's it. Like that's literally it, and maybe Volt Switch
It can
or
sweep
Spin.
with rapid spinning into then quick spamming gyro ball. I guess that sounds pretty
Oh,
good.
well, I mean, you also have to remember it now has body press, which makes it a bit less shit. Like I had it last season. I absolutely despised it. I think it's like 2 points at best, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I mean, I think it's okay. It's not a terrible mon. Well, it is a terrible mon, but I could maybe see it work on this team.
Last thing I want to mention
Um,
quickly, he has a Blastoise, which was almost the kill leader last season. And
yeah,
so
Yeah,
that
and it
is
even has momentum now.
yeah. So even I think the core of shout out Blastoise, those two mons he brings every single game, he should be
Yep.
fine. Blastoise is just in case in the back. He's quick shell smash and win the game. Yeah, do we have anything else to say? We can talk about some stats.
Uh, I think his team's maybe yeah. I think his team is maybe doesn't appreciate actually. I was saying like maybe like rock offensive rock types with like Ice Fang or Ice Punch
I can see
or
that.
like Ice Coverage pretty much
Yeah,
because
because
I
your
think it's
steel's fortress, so like steel's
and Heatran and then there's only
oh
like
and
rock
Heatran.
resist is the Zygarde I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Uh, so yeah, right
Yeah,
now,
I think its speed tiers are actually like pretty solid as well.
yeah, I agree with that.
yeah. If there's one thing to not change, it's the speed tier.
Yeah, like yeah, literally pretty much my only criticism is that he maybe should have just drafted a psychic, and that's
Yeah,
like yeah, if he like I don't know what you drop, maybe the Porygon Z for a
I think
psychic.
the Audino. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Audino is like kind of useless here. I just don't see it.
I mean, you know,
No, no, no,
it's
no,
a
no, hold
staple
on,
for
you
this
do
team.
not
It's
understand.
JP.
JP,
Actually,
It's a
he needs
JP
his
mon.
Wishmon. he needs his
Yeah,
Wishmon.
I mean, I
That's
guess I
not
think his
JPT.
Wishmon. I mean, I don't know, as a Wishmon is decent here. I'd say. I just
Yeah.
think maybe Cursula is like a better example, but I just think Cursula's gonna not fit for this team as
Mm.
like what it's trying to do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe you could drop Cursor. I could see that.
All right, so I think we'll move on here. Talk about JP. Obviously, just look at the chat out. It's the main thing here. Number one team.
Yep.
Next up here, we have Dave and the Chicago Conkelders. We have him at 12 here. His team consists of Mega Scizor, Gliscor, Barraskewda, Rotom Heat, Rose Raid, Gardevoir, Licky Licky, Haxorus, Sneasel, Kabutops, and Girder. Do any of you have preference in starting on this team? Or
Yeah, I'll start. First of all, I think this team should be 17 because he stole Coach Oak's Sneasel, which I'm fuming about.
that's very true.
Yes,
We
yes.
criminals do not deserve
Yeah, that's
their
very true.
place on this power rankings. But in all seriousness, I think this starts off. The first two picks are so good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what he's like. What the plan was afterwards. I don't know what his team's kind of trying to do as such.
Yeah, I agree.
I think. I think like maybe. I mean, Flip Turn Barraskewda is definitely cool. I think Flip Turn's a very good buff to Barraskewda. Think it makes it way more threatening.
I don't think
But
the
I
Barraskewda is the problem. I think the reason or like the consequence he got by drafting Barraskewda and then later on Kabutops
I was gonna
is what
say
like
I think if he paired it with a defensive water later down the line, this would have been okay. But then he just
yeah
gets random Kabutops, and I just think like those first two monsters really appreciate having like a bulky water to lean on, and then
yeah
this
and
team
like
just doesn't have that.
yeah and the first two plus Rotom Heat, our order is really good. And
Yeah,
then
for
Rose
sure.
Raid, I think Rose Raid defensively like works really well here. I just think Rose Raid is kind of a little bit less useful because if you nerfs a guy with like hidden power and heavy
Yeah.
duty boost, making his spike stacking like a little bit worse. Um, like if he just has like a water there, like an actual bulky water, it just becomes such a better team because it like fixes the huge flaw that it doesn't have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I think also like I don't think this team is like it can break defensive steel types, but I feel like maybe it appreciates another mon which could like kind of check it. Just because like I think Sizzle appreciates that getting weakened, especially if it like wants to sweep in the late game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um but yeah, I don't know. I feel like this team had like such good potential and it just drops. I think as well, like his rockers are Gliscor and Kabutops,
Okay.
and I don't think Kabutops is a fantastic
That's pretty bad,
rocker.
actually. That's actually really bad. I just noticed that
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
So and like Gliscor doesn't want to be forced to run rocks every week, but it kind of has to on this team.
Yeah. I think one thing though is I think Rose Raid's gonna be pressured to come every week. One, I think because it does offer some hazards, which is nice, and two,
Yeah.
one of the things when you draft Rotom Heat, I feel is you really need to make sure you have a decent water switch in to that
Yeah,
because your electric is weak now weak to water. So you obviously have Rotom Heat
Yeah.
to kill
like
the water, so you need something to swap into it, and so that has to be Rose
it's
Raid essentially.
I think
So
it's kind of a problem where um I am questioning why his water answer is like praying to God his opponent is like a Seismitoad and just getting the water absorb really hard.
yeah, that
yeah.
is a good point.
Yeah, I just don't really understand like what this they're just trying to do essentially. I think it's just kind of more like an assortment of mons rather than
Yeah,
like I can't really see like what his like plan was with this.
yeah,
I don't think this I think outside like the first like Sizzle, Gliscor, Rotimi, I think after that I just don't see the synergy
hmm
within this team.
yeah. I was excited to see because I've never drafted Mega Historical Ice Score before. I don't know exactly how to draft around it, so maybe I wanted to judge, but I just don't feel like then going to Barris to round three just makes some sense. And then it was what happened after. I sort of just lost my train of thought on what this team was actually supposed to
Yeah,
do.
like I don't think it's like terrible. Like I think like Barracuda can like come in like those like lesser.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think it would have been better if it was Greninja. If this Barracuda was a Greninja, I think it would be better. And then they've got a bulky water. I think this team could be pretty decent, but
I could see that actually. Yeah, Greninja would have been pretty nice with this.
yeah, because like Greninja can like switch into there's like less scared of Scold as well, which I
Hmm.
think those two don't appreciate.
Hmm. Do we have anything else? I don't think I have much. I think Has kind of said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
Yeah.
basic. Yeah. All right. So we'll move on then. Going on to 11, we have Ian and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have Urshifu Single Strike, Excadrill Latias, Hippowdon Mega Aerodactyl, Decidueye Salazzle, Aromatisse Manaphy, and Big Boy Stoutland without return. Uh, I honestly did not know what to think of this team when I saw it. Do any of you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I looked at this team. I saw the Mega Aerodactyl, which was meant to be on my team, and I cried.
Yeah.
This
So,
team ruined my whole draft plan, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I do not like Ian. I do not like his team.
Hmm. I just think.
um,
Sorry, you
go
go.
on. Sorry.
Well, I was
No, you can go.
my first point was just that I feel like a lot of his reliable offense with like Urshifu, Excadrill, and like Mega Arrow. That was like the first like three main offense ones you see off the bat are just they're all physical, which is sort of like his main special attackers are what like Latios, Salazzle, Manaphy. I mean, Decidueye sort of both, but
Yeah, like he doesn't have any like immediate special offense, if you ask me.
yeah, they're a bit. I've
Like
used
Manaphy has to set up.
yeah.
Even like Latias is just kind of meh. Um, and like yeah, Salazar as well needs to set up. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is just like very physical based kind of team.
Yeah, I've used Manaphy in this gen. It's so much better as just as a bit more of a defensive mon, and maybe invest some points into your offense. Not a ton though. I guess think it fits that role a bit better to stay without obviously the Z moves anymore. It's just so much better to fit that role. Uh,
I think it's really pressure to fit that role because his team like without it like his team like is really weak to like water types
it is. It's got to use like the Decidueye or
and
something.
ice types as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this team's really weak to ice types actually. I think it's got Latias, Hippowdon, Mega Arrow, Decidueye, and then there's resisted like Salazzle,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And the Manaphy.
Yeah.
yeah, and like Salazzle's not really an ice resist, so it's literally like Manaphy's just so pressured.
I mean, I had the pleasure to have been in the same situation a little bit.
Mm.
Last season, I had Manaphy as pretty much my only water resist, and it worked out pretty much fine. I think Manaphy is very reliable to do such a job, but a bit like what Jack said, you're forced into it being defensive, even though it works better most of the time, because just like CM is a really good set, and Tail Glow with a lot of bulk can actually like be pretty threatening to opposing teams because they can't kill it, but they can't switch into it properly most of the time anyway.
Mm.
Um, so Menifee does like do that job well, um, but it's obviously not like optimal.
Mm-hmm.
Or Shifu is really strong. Wicked Blow does a ton to a
Yeah.
lot of Pokemon. It's insane. Um, Excadrill is Excadrill. Like it'll always be strong with SD with an SD up. You'll very much be scared of it. Aerodactyl went round 5, which is kind of surprising with how strong it is now. You know, it's like pretty valuable as a mon. It fits on pretty much any team. Even this one, even though it doesn't really look like it, I think does kind of work. I think Latias is kind of bad, but with the buffs it got, it's pretty decent. I think this team is kind of a little bit underrated. I put it a bit higher than 11 myself. Um, One thing I do really dislike is the Stoutland. I think it doesn't really like last gen. I told someone to get Stoutland when he had a Mega T-Tar, and he didn't want to like have sand, but I was like, yeah, just get Stoutland. Like just force people to prep for it like a little bit, And then at some point, if you like, even if you don't bring it, it's either gonna force prep or you're gonna bring it once and it's gonna do a lot because Stoutland can actually hit pretty decently, but I'm not sure if it does the same with Charon. I just don't see why it'd be here when you have it already.
It may just
I
be a
think you
flex.
could
May just be a flex on all of them.
may just be. I just think that
Yeah,
there's
I
been
just
something else.
like the reason I feel the arrow was a bit awkward because I feel like with Excadrill, I know arrow like is nice for like bulky grass types, like having like flying spam is like decent with like Excadrill, which I think is why he went for that. I think he already has like it already gives him like he has like pretty good speed control on this team, so and it also just makes him like really like weak to like water types as well,
Yeah, I
which
thought
Really
the
is
same
salty kid.
way.
like I think he maybe could have gone like Mega Pidgeot and then upgraded Stoutland to like an actual mon.
Yeah.
That's actually a decent
Yeah,
one.
I thought the same way as you. Exegol and Aerodactyl obviously aren't the same mons, but at the same time they are sort of pretty similar in things that like they're obviously both weak to water. Like I was trying to figure out like why I think these monsters are so similar, but I feel like they want sort of bulky waters to get broken down. There's another point as well, like his way to break down what bulky waters is to use the Decidueye. Is that am I missing something here? Or
Yeah, or unless
No.
like Manaphy can like maybe sell up on them.
yeah.
I think it's the way.
His fairy type is also an Aromatisse, which I personally hate. I don't think it's good at
I,
all.
I don't think I don't think Aromatisse fits on this team. I don't know why Aromatisse is on this team besides
Eh,
the fairy type.
I think it's okay because like look at a team and look at fighting types with knockoff like Gallade. Like a Mega Gallade can rip through this team.
But I'm saying like I think it's only there as a fairy type, but I don't think like this team really needs wish pass like whatsoever. And like he has a Latias if he really needs wish
Well, what
pass.
I was gonna bring up was take away Aromatisse, his dragon resist is an Excadrill, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Well,
a
that's a good
little bit
point.
annoying. And Aromatisse, I feel like you put a bit of pressure there. If you don't bring Aromatisse, I
yeah.
feel like Dragon Spam's just really good versus your team.
Yeah, like I think there are because of Aromatisse and get mystical fire. Like there's a lot of mons that can like absolutely abuse it.
Yeah, it's just too
Yeah,
small.
like
It has some wish, but it's in Sand Wish sometimes, and it's just chipping itself
Mm.
out. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan
yeah,
personally.
for example, like Zygarde, we already saw, can actually be very threatening if he just doesn't bring the Aromatisse. Like Thousand Arrows toxic and like outrage it. Kind of
Yeah.
just says hello, you
Very
know?
good,
Because
but
like
I mean,
if you
even
toss,
with the Aromatisse, it still does a fair bit.
yeah,
Like
uh, do we think
I just think
Urshifu single strike will carry him, or is it?
I don't think it will carry him, but I think it's really strong.
yeah, like it's a good
I think
break.
it's underpriced. I
Yeah.
think it's underpriced. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. We'll see
Well,
what
we'll
happens,
see.
but we'll
We'll
see
see.
after.
Well,
If
Chaz
PP
said
saw the wicked blows,
it's Chaz's fault that it got moved down. That's all I'm saying.
Steven PP saw the wicked blows, and you should be good to go. Maybe who knows?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just click protect. Just click protect. There you
Yes.
But I can see this team like even though we criticize, I can kind of see it working. Like if
Mm-hmm.
he's
I
like
can too. I can
yeah,
too. Uh,
but we'll see.
yeah. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on here, we're going on to number 10, and we have Spoink, and is it the Des Moines Delibirds? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
We have Zapdos, Urshifu Rapid Strike, which is the water one, of course. Ferrothorn, Alakazam, Mega Charizard X, Piloswine, Qwilfish, Grimmsnarl, Regular Rotom, Audino, and his coveted Braviary here. Obviously, the star mod of the team. Does anyone want to start on this team?
Well, I had to prep for it week one, so
Okay, okay.
maybe I should start on it. Unless Jeremy, do you want to start on it? I'm
Um, I I mean, I had the pleasure to start or like I play week one against Ian, so the person before Spoink. I tried to like not like put my focus into that because like it kind of it's a little bit of bias on it.
okay.
So I
Why?
think I'll go first instead of you because like
Okay. All
sometimes
right. Okay. Sure. Sure.
I'm saying
I don't think we
I'm
needed a
saying
long-winded explanation, but
I'm I know I'm just saying like it can be a little bit biased and you can look a little bit more into you thinking it's better than it actually is or worse than it actually is because
bro, I'm
I
saying
think
every team I'm
Zapdos
shitting on them no matter what. Every team is trash. I
I
said
think
this at the
Urshifu
start.
Rapid is underrated as well. I don't think it's as underrated as I mean they're both underrated I think Urshifu and like both Urshifus are underrated. I think Zapdos is the most reliable defensive mon you can get, and it's strong offensively as well, especially with Hurricane now. Ferrothorn works really well with Zapdos.
Serious.
I'd say, especially if you can like pair it with a good fire resist. You got in Zard X and Quillfish. Of course, they're not the best, but like I've used Zard X and I actually like it as a fire resist. Like actually like being able to come in and then pressuring the opposing team. Zam is very strong with Nasty Plot. Piloswine is super reliable as a rocker. Grimmsnarl can be very annoying. I don't know why there's a Rotom. That's all I really have to
I
say.
think he likes Rotom.
And
I don't know though. I could be wrong.
I think the last, like, I think if anything, I mean, if you change the last three mods, except maybe Audino and Braviary, depending on which one you like more on the team, you get a very solid team that can do bits. I just think you need a few holes to patch, if that makes
Yeah. I
It,
don't know.
it sounded like it sounded like
and
you were sucking him off a fair bit. Is all I'm saying. After saying that I was going to suck him off, you sound like you pretty much sucked him off more than
I
I
mean,
was.
I put him very low, but I can see like the good parts about it. I just think that it's just so doesn't it's not it's underwhelming, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like it does much. Like
Mm.
there's a Zardex, I get it. There's an Urshifu, I get it. There's an Alakazam. I just think that it doesn't like have the Excadrill, for example, from last team. Like it doesn't have that. It doesn't have a
I had a small point I
boom.
wanted to bring up. Before we even really knew what Urshifu Rapid was, and we only knew it was really a water type, I did have an idea of this core, potentially a fun core of getting something like Coco, Urshifu Rapid, and then like a Zard Y and Zapdos with Zard X and Urshifu Rapid. It's sort of similar, and I actually think that sort of three is actually a pretty decent core. I think if you get like Urshifu Rapid with a good fire and a solid electric, I think it's actually personally pretty good core all around, which is something the first thing I noticed. Like, oh, it's actually kind of similar to what I was thinking about maybe, hopefully trying to get, but that was very much a dream scenario for me. Um, yeah, I don't know if you know, I sort of agree with Jeremy's point. I just don't really see that sort of just. It seems a bit underwhelming. That's just sort of my. I don't really know why I put it sort of low. It's just I don't know. I just felt.
I can give you a couple points. Okay, number one. How many mons above base 100 speed do you see on this team?
It's only
One
Zam, I believe. Yeah.
It is literally the regular Zam, which I think is a bit of an issue on this team. Like he has a lot of like middling speed tiers. I definitely think he could have maybe swapped one of those out for like a faster mon.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically, I'm saying drop Braviary. But I don't think Spoiling's gonna do that.
No way he'll ever do that. Impossible.
Yeah. Like he has. You know, I'm okay with Pharaoh and Piloswine being the only rockers because I think they're both pretty reliable. They do have like a couple common weaknesses, but I think it's like that's probably functionable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this team like really appreciates rocks being up. Even with like boots for like Zapdos, if it gets knocked off, like it could be kind of an issue.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I think
I think like something like Grimmsnarl's kind of decent with this team because like it has like options of like screens or like even like setting up on its own, which I think we can because it's point we can probably see like maybe 1 or 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can just run like some
not
random trick power whip set and spoil your
You're
seismic.
pissed. You're pissed.
one thing I
But
really don't
let's not
understand.
get into that.
One thing I don't understand is why he got Quillfish when there's already a Fairphone. And I think Quillfish is just
I mean, it means that like Ferrothorn doesn't always have to run spikes, and like we said, like he doesn't have that many stealth rockers, and also like Quillfish isn't there's like decent defensive synergy with Ferrothorn, so I think it's okay actually.
I guess it kind of works. Yeah,
I used
I just
Fairphone
think
a little bit recently, and I don't know. I feel like sometimes when you click Hazard to Ferrothorn, it just puts you so far in the back. I feel like you'd rather be clicking
Yeah,
Leech Seed as comparison to Hazards almost now.
yeah. I've used Ferrothorn pretty recently in the tour, and I had I had a similar experience.
So
that.
Yeah. Have anything else? Do you guys have anything else on this team?
Uh,
I think the word underwhelming fits it really well.
yeah. I mean, I think this team could like. I think it's. I don't think it's like as underwhelming as maybe some of you are saying, but I do think it has like some like flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on here. Moving on to number 9, we have our good pal TCMTL and the Club Penguin Lodge, the big fish there, of course. His team consists of Zorora, Gengar, Slowbro, Nidoqueen, Shaman, Silvally, Empoleon, Rotom Frost, Flygon, Big Carbink, and Mega Houndoom. Um, who wants to start on this team?
I'll start. Why does he have like fucking? Why is over half his team weak to ground types?
Yeah, that's.
All right, it's I think it's Zera, Gengar, Nidoqueen,
Empoleon,
Empoleon, Carbink,
Carbink, Houndoom.
Mega Houndoom. That's 6 months weak to ground types.
Yeah, that's.
And the worst part, his ground resists aren't even like
He's got like
that
Shaman
good.
and then two
Like
Levitated.
Shay,
Yeah.
I think Shaman is. I think Shaman is kind of bad. I think Flygon is kind of bad. Rotom Frost is not gonna into ground types that often.
Yeah.
I mean, it can obviously as like an offensive one, like an offensive.
Where's
But
Mammoth Swan when you need it? Mammoth Swan versus team.
I mean more so like a defensive.
Bro, I think I
And
might just have to pick up Mama Swine after seeing some of these teams.
He's gonna need to.
That's all I'm saying.
He's gonna need air balloon and Empoleon. Good check, IMO.
Yeah, I mean, Slowbro's not bad versus
Yeah, Slowbro's
Mama.
pretty good.
yeah,
Slowbro's pretty good.
Slowbro
Yeah.
is like. I mean, I think the problem. That's one problem I have with this team. Why is Slowbro the best Mon for like its price on the team?
Yeah, we were talking about underwhelming with the last draft, and I just feel like he's not just like that solid Mon every week that's going to be able to carry him. I really don't think Zorora's that Mon, to be honest. It's a good Mon, but it's not something that you
Like,
can just bring every week and it's going to be really solid for you, in my
yeah,
opinion.
like I think like Zoro's really good if you like have like a breaker for it. Like it's like one of the best sweepers,
Mm-hmm.
but it just needs like something just to break stuff down for it.
Yeah. And you also want to,
Like
I feel
And
like with
then
Zeri, you want a little bit more speed and some stuff based on
yeah,
height. And he's only got Houndoom and Gengar. And I feel like with how sort of maybe, well, I guess he got Shaman at 102, but like, I feel like Gengar may be pressured to run Scarf for a few weeks just to, because I think
yeah,
versus
yeah.
Zerora, you need a Scarfer to kill Zerora almost or try to revenge it. So you
Yeah,
may need to bring Scarf Gengar as well. So I don't know.
yeah. I think Gengar's just pressured to run Scarf way too much because I don't think Scarf Shaman's ever resets. Like Flygon, that's kind of meh. I know it can run DD, but that's not like immediate speeds. I don't like. I think the next fastest is Silvally, which I mean it's Silvally, so yeah. I don't know what Carbink really does. What does Carbink do?
It says rocks, I think. Does it get rocks?
Yeah,
Screens?
I think that's it. I think it's just the Diancie without the offense.
It can set screens for Flygon to click Dragon Dance easier. I think
The Wincon, the Wincon.
I think that's it. I think that's what we're looking at here.
Oh yeah, DD
yeah,
clicks a special move.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, just I
I
honestly don't know what to think of this team. I really
I
don't.
think defensively this team actually isn't terrible. You know, I think like Slowbro, Nidoqueen, Shaman, and Polion. That's like decent defensive synergy between them.
Hmm.
I kind of wish he got um like I think this wasn't an option. No, it wasn't. Um, if he could get Aegislash over Gengar, of course he couldn't. Like, in the end, he got Aegislash over Gengar, and then maybe Nidoking over. That would have been really good for his team.
Yeah,
Somehow.
Potentially.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think just if he had like another like offensive one, then
I mean, not on this set of or like this squad of mons, because like you need like if you do those two changes, you need to like change the whole draft plan. But I think the team, like if this was Gen 7, would have looked way better somehow.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, feels like better than Gen 7. Do you think Houndoom's just a bit kind of random and just there? He's kind of just like, oh, I need a fire. I
Yeah.
want a dark. Let's just put it on there. It has decent speed. But I don't really know what to think of like a Houndoom. Maybe if he had like some sort of Sun element, maybe it adds a little bit more to this team. I don't know how much it would really change it in our rankings, but
I mean, to be fair, like the best Sunsetter got drafted, so
or, yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
like
a good point.
and the only abuses the Zarude of Leaf Guard, which I mean, I don't really get.
Yeah. I just when I first saw this team, I just didn't really know what to think about. It. I thought it was just kind of sort of bang average, middle of the pack. It can maybe put in a shift, but overall, I think it's just lacking a bit of just overwhelming, just lead potent mods that are really obvious brings every week and are really solid for you. Other than like Slowbro, I guess, which is a pretty good staple for you. But in terms of like offense, reliable offense, it's gotta probably change for you every single week, in my opinion. What's
Yeah.
valuable?
hmm
Do we have anything else on our good pal TC's team here?
Not really, not that I can think of.
Okay.
I'm missing the big fish. That's all I have to say.
True.
Yep, big fish.
All right, so we're moving on here to actually what it is an 8, but it is actually the worst team in the draft. I don't know why it's an 8 here. We're moving on to my team here. Coach of the Los Angeles Larvatars, Jack, of course, which is me. We have Megalopone, Aegislash, Necrozma, Mandibuzz, Gather Weezing, Donphan, Colossal, Heliolisk, Swellow, Quagsire, Leafeon, and of course the most important Mon, Cramorant, and then the Pikachu it's eating, of course. Um, I, I mean, it's my team, but do any of you want to start on it, or do I feel like I need to start on it because it's my team?
You can start on that. Go on.
You can start.
Okay, well, so a lot of the stuff, I think this team is basically a polar opposite to my Season 10 team in the sense that Season 10 team, I was basically a complete boomer and drafting all this good Gen 7 stuff. And this draft, other than I guess Lopunny, I drafted a lot of stuff I guess also Don Pension, a lot of stuff I've never used before. Lopunny's also different this gen, obviously with no return, which I don't really know how I feel about it just yet. I wanted to just try to see if I still like it as viable mon. Aegislash as well. I've never drafted before, but a lot of people were saying that, and I do agree that the core of Lopunny, Aegislash on paper, just the typing in their offensive matchups just fit really well together, and they sort of break for each other, which is nice. So I like that. I like that too to start. But I don't. For some reason I felt after that. I don't know where I feel like I just butchered this draft somewhere. I don't know exactly how. One of the problems I ran into was I got Necrozma, and then I got Mandibuzz, and I felt like with a lot of the mons I wanted after that, a lot of the stuff I wanted was just around the similar speed tier to those mons, and it just felt like I was really limited in what I could actually like want to get, unless I wanted to have like 3 mons at base 80 or 3 mons at base 60 speed. Like that just did not feel good to me at all. So maybe I should have tried to pick up some faster mons a bit earlier and then focus on the stuff that's around that base 80 to 6 range because there's a lot of mons to pick from in there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. I'm still trying to figure out myself on how much I like it or not. I got to use it a bit more to figure it out.
Leafeon and Cramorant are definitely making sure that you definitely have to outspeed those two. That's all I'm saying. Because if you take those out, it goes from a healer list of Mandibuzz,
Yeah, it's pretty
which
bad. Yeah. I did want to
I
get
mean,
Manaphy for this team. I did want to get Manaphy, but that got taken.
bro, Ian, I don't. He's just there. He didn't want to draft good. He just wanted to ruin everyone else's drafts.
I mean, I think this wrong after like wheezing. I think the mods after that
I can see
aren't
that. I can see that. I agree.
except for Leafeon, I think mods
I think I
like
drafted the
the
Donphan a bit
best
early.
at their role.
Yeah, I should have thought about the Donphan pick a little bit more. I think I probably could have went a different
I
route
think
there.
I think the problem with a lot of these
Did Jeremy cut out? Or am I lagging?
Yeah, he has for me.
Oh,
No one to listen to him anyway.
okay.
I guess another issue of this team is I think this team doesn't appreciate ice types, especially because both your water types don't resist ice.
That's a good point.
Like I think,
It's what Aegis
yeah,
Slash and yeah, it's just Aegis and Colossal. I guess that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see
So
that.
Mammoth's fine. Hello, hello, hello. So someone needs to pick it up. That's all I'm saying. You know,
Uh,
I might just have to do it myself
I
if
don't
no
know.
one picks it up.
I honestly, I thought about drafting Mamoswine, but it was after the Mammoth pick. I thought about drafting Mamoswine, but then I think Mamoswine's base 80. Necrozma's base 79, and Mandibus is base 80. And it just felt so bad if I had all those mons at that tier. It just felt terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna draft Mama Swine, but then I kind of like because of the way my team the way I had my team planned out, I was gonna go in like a different direction, which Mama Swine kind of didn't really fit. Jeremy's asking me what's.
He wants you to move them
Oh,
to
oh yeah, I'll do that. Actually, no, we don't want to listen to it. Fuck him. Yeah, I also feel like. I mean, I guess there's Necrozma, but I feel like the special offense on the team's kind of meh as well. I like Swallow has to run like it has to be specs in order to break.
Well, I think Aegislash can run. I feel like with Aegislash Lopunny, you want AG to be special and obviously Lopunny to be physical.
Yeah, I
I
guess.
think it's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Aegislash
I
runs.
didn't think of that actually. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think eight.
I think
Okay.
Lopunny with U-turn into sort of like so you U-turn out on whatever's checking Lopunny, and then you swap into something like Specs Aegislash or something, and it could feel pretty good with obviously Ghost being a lot stronger now in this generation with no pursuit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think the way you use Lopunny is like a lot different to last season. I think it's more of a pivot rather than like I don't know if it was like a breaker per se, but
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it's ever a breaker. I think it's just a good mod with hazards up and it's a good mod.
yeah,
Just
yeah. I
more
just think
fast
it's like
in the
just
game.
really good to just get momentum rather than it just like like clean up per se. But I still think it's like pretty much as good as it was last gen, like roughly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you think we should move Jeremy back
yeah,
in now?
move him back in. Move him back in. I'm not gonna.
There we go. There he is.
Oh, he's here.
Thank
Oh,
you,
he's
thank
back.
you.
There he's back.
For some reason, my phone just does that.
That's okay.
That's
We're still
it.
talking
Do
about
you have
Martin
anything
here.
to say about Jack's team? You're
Mm,
in the middle of a sentence. It sounds like a
mm,
very important point. We're
I think
all dying to hear
I
it.
think basically I think it's just a ton of mons that could have been better mons for their value. I think that's just it. Like I think the top five is like really good, and then just like a bunch of mon that could have been better for their value, except for Leafeon. That's just
I think Colossal's pretty good.
Yeah, Colossal was like 3 points,
Actually,
wasn't it?
really
That's
Colossal.
pretty good value, I
oh,
think.
Colossal was 3 points. Okay, yeah, I rate that.
Yeah. I saw it earlier. I was like, I wanted to draft because
Even
won, and I was like, oh,
I mean,
want
I mean, even then it's like seventh. You know, it's like but it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah, maybe you can steam out bitterly. But I mean, I think by like that point of draft, you just prioritize like what stuff you need the most rather than like value per se.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally with this team, I think if I focused on maybe my speed a little bit more early on. Like one thing I did debate instead of getting the Crosman was getting Alakazam. So I get the speed and then I get more defensive mods around that sort of base 80 range maybe. Maybe that would have fixed some stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but
Alas.
yeah. I'm gonna have to try and make this work. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this team can work. To be honest, I think like the first four are just really good, and then you have a lot of monsters who can like fill out like a lot of certain roles. So
And then Cranmer's there, which will win me every game. So,
yeah,
yeah. Ready to move on off my shit team here? I think we're good to go.
yeah.
Anymore. All right. So moving
Oh
on.
wait, no, I forgot to say one more thing.
Oh, of
I
course.
think the thing that ultimately brings this team down is the coach. That's all I have to say. Then we can move on.
That is the best point you've said all video. Thank you. All right, moving on here to number
Finally,
7.
finally, a good opinion.
Moving on to number 7, we have Stive and the high jump kicks. That's all I'm not gonna say to pronounce the first name.
The Helsinki high jump.
Is it Hell?
No, it's
Yeah, it's Helsinki.
Helsinki.
Oh, okay.
Helsinki.
So,
Is it Helen? I thought it was Helsinki.
There's only an L.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Hell would be 2 L's.
Helsinki.
Let's just go over the team.
No, I'm looking at the pronunciation. You carry on.
Okay, so his team consists of Mega Diancie, Jirachi, Thunderous Incarnate, Tangrowth, Vaporeon, Noivern, Drapion, Diggersby, Steelix, Dusclops.
Oh shit! I spelt it wrong. Oh, that's it. I just spelt it wrong.
Dusclops.
There should be an S.
And Rapidash, Gower. Does anyone want to start on this team?
Jeremy can start.
I think it's So, okay, so This is a type of team that you would love in Gen 7 because it's very balanced, and I kind of like that's I think why I kind of like it. I think if Diggersby still had return, would be way better because Diggersby I think would really fit this meta, and I'm excited to see what he can do with it.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, I think the team is very much a solid unit, and then the last three mods are kind of weird, but they have their niche. So I think
I think
it's a
Cloyster's pretty
very
good. I actually love keeping Cloyster's actually really good. It doesn't always have the shell smash. I think actually being sort of defensive just with spikes or reps, I think it's actually
yeah,
pretty good
that
personally.
I mean that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they have their own niches in a way.
Hmm.
So I think they're kind of bad, but I think they have their niches that can really work out.
Hmm.
Um, Overall, I just think it's a very balanced team that doesn't feel like it has. I mean, it does have weaknesses, uh, decently glaring, I'd say. Um, but I don't think it like overall. I just think he can probably like out prep matchups a lot. I think
Yeah.
it's very solid for a number seven team because it's just a balanced roster. I don't think there's anything that really sticks out or anything that really like looks really bad of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do we think he has a
Like
weak
Asmon's.
kind of ground issue? Is Formon's weak to
Yeah,
ground? He does
yeah. I
have.
think like it's like Tangrowth is really pressured to like
Yeah. He's got the
ground.
Noivern
Yeah,
Dundee, which I think Noivern with boots this gen is actually really fucking good. I actually
Yeah,
really
I
like
yeah.
think
Noivern
like
now.
I think
Uh,
both of them slept on this gen actually.
And
uh,
I'm just more so about how his team is just like of course there are weaknesses. I just think there's no actually bad mod on the team.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I used Diancie last season, and obviously didn't have the buffs with getting access to Play Rough, and did I get something else? I think I got something else, right? Or was Play Rough the main thing I got? But anyway, one thing I know about Diancie was I feel like it's sort of a smaller niche point, but one of the annoying things I had was with Diancie, I feel like you want sort of another rocker to not be weak to ground. I feel like because if you want to get rocks up or like trying trade rocks, for example, you can't just swap in a Diancie or a Jirachi or your Steelix to ever try and trade rocks. You can't ever do that. It's too risky, or else you're just gonna take an earthquake for free. It's sort of a small thing, but I think if he had another rocker that wasn't weak to the ground, he could at least try and trade rocks, at least in trade
Yeah.
hazards. I don't know. It's just a bit annoying. I feel like whenever a rocker comes in, he's got to go out into something like Tangrowth or Vaporeon, and he instantly loses a bit of momentum. To be honest.
I can kind of agree with that. Like those two I mean, I guess Vaporeon could run Baton Pass, but
Yeah.
like it's like really hard for it to fit it on in like certain matchups. That's always been my issue with Vaporeon. I feel like it's kind of a mon which is like you just want to run so many moves on it, but you just can't always fit them all onto it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I, f- I think um I think he has a lot of like decent like hazard stack users, but a lot of them don't always want to like Diggers we can run spikes, but you don't always want to run spikes on it. Like same with like Cloister, I suppose. I think his removals meh. Like it's Neuven, Fundy, I, and Cloister, and I don't think all of them
Yeah.
always want to run removal. But I think you can always like fit it onto one of them at least if
Mm-hmm.
you like desperately need so. So I don't think it's like awful, but it is definitely like an issue. I also think he kind of has like an maybe an issue with like ice types perhaps.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say fighting types to be honest, because I feel like a lot of his resists are sort of lower end and they aren't the best. Like
Yeah,
this seems not like weak to fighting. I feel like it's kind of spammable though. Like he's got like Thundy that
yeah,
can
yeah.
weak and he kind of has to
Right.
swap in, but yeah, it's not like super weak to fighting. He's not got mons that are like he's got what like Diggersby and Steelix that are really only weak to fighting,
Yeah,
and Cloister. But yeah, I don't know. Rapidash Gower with that 4 times resist, you can swap that in for sure.
yeah. I mean, at least he drafted a Gen 8 mon this time. Like,
That's true.
if he didn't draft the Gen 8 mon again, I think we might have had to kick him out the league. So
Well, I did it last time.
I think he's living in the wrong age, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, I think Rapid Scala is a pretty cool mon. I'm interested to see how he
I don't
does
know
with
a
it.
lot about it, so yeah, I'm curious to see how it does as well.
Would it be able to switch into a Mega Mobile? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Nah, only regular Rapidash, only regular.
Bless.
Uh,
Only the regular. It's
Yeah.
very
I mean, I moved this team quite a bit around the rankings. I kind of ranged it from like
Yeah,
the
I
path
think
to
I
like
had this team in like the top four at one point, to be honest.
yeah, and then at
I,
some point it's like 11th, and you're like, what?
yeah, it's just a really it's hard to really rank. It's hard to rank a lot of these teams. I'll be honest, but
Yeah, a lot of them
yeah,
are
I
like
definitely think
actually
it's
like
solid.
really hard.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I think we come to the point where like
Yeah. Every team has some.
we're getting out of the awful tier.
But wait, we gotta
Like
remember.
these teams.
Yeah, we gotta remember though that every draft we have in this division is very bad. Of course,
Yeah,
it's just the better bad teams, I guess.
yeah, it's yeah, exactly. It's the less awful, you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
Hmm. Do we have anything else to say, or should we move on here?
No, we can move
Mm,
on. We can move on.
yeah, we
All
can.
right, all right. So
I'd finally like to again apologize for spelling Helsinki wrong. Uh,
okay, so moving on here to number 6, we have. I think it's worse than my team to be honest, but it's not number 6. We have
hold on,
Has.
hold on. Let me get your rankings out because I think you put me like one place above yours.
I did, I did. It
What
was
is
a joke.
this?
It was.
Has fifth, Jack eight. What is this? You tell me. You tell me.
We have Az here. His team consists of the Tafu Koko, Victini, Komo-O, Klefki, which I think you traded, Seismitoad, Superior, Miltank, Weezing, Tornadus Eye, Dusknoir, and the big Mega Gyarados.
Big
Um,
fish.
you had our early draft pick. It's no wonder your team's broken. Yeah, that's all I have to say. No.
I mean, I didn't really know what to do with it to be honest. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll take Coco. And I was and for the whole draft, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Um, yeah, I mean, I can understand why some people might not like this draft because there's like you look at it and it's I can definitely get the it's underwhelming vibes from it because I feel like I kind of made a lot of like middling picks during the middle of the drafts. But I think it's functionable in the fact that I think the offense of his team like is really good at breaking each other's checks.
Hmm.
And I think with like the hazard stack as well, and I can like punish default pretty well with like Serp Country or Defiant Torn. So that was kind of like the sort of idea behind it. I did get sniped a fair bit. Um
Hmm.
but
Challenge.
yeah but yeah, I think it's a team I can at least use. Which is something, because that doesn't always happen.
That's quite a bit to say about the number 6 team on the.
The
It's a
what?
team I can use. Like the way you describe your team as a number 6 team is I can use it.
Oh,
I
come
think
on! All these teams, we've all agreed all these teams are dog shit. So I mean, what do you want me to say? Oh, I fucking love this team. Oh, it's the fucking greatest. No, they're all shit.
I looked at the first three and I figured, oh, it's a pretty strong first three. To be honest, Victini, Tapu Koko, Como is a pretty good front three.
Yeah,
And then Mega Gyarados thing is actually pretty good Mega to round it off with. To be honest, I know you want Mega Arrow, but I do actually like Mega Gyarados here. It's pretty good.
yeah, I
Mhm.
agree.
I'm really looking at it now. Would you say your team's kind of weak to ground spam? And you got like Weezing and Torn to levitate, but then your resist is like superior, I guess, which isn't like the best when your two front ones are weak to ground, I guess.
Yeah,
I think it's just because there's a Coco on the team, but I can kind of understand it. Like, I guess it's just a pre-Mega Gyarados,
Yeah, you'd have pretty Mega Gyarados, and you'd not have to make them
Mhm.
like
Yeah, I
super
mean,
bulky.
I can definitely understand that, but I like Sub's fairly bulky as well.
Sugarberry's pretty free on Top Coco some weeks, so.
Yeah, like, but I mean, I can somewhat see what you mean.
You did drop the Klefki for like a Registeel, right?
Yeah,
with with
it
with
was more I looked at
Victini.
the matchups and I just there were a lot of Fairy Touch I just didn't like,
That's
and I
fair.
just felt like I also felt like specially like my special defensive walls weren't great, so I felt like Registeel kind of gave me like more of like a cushion versus like certain matchups, so that's why
Oh, yes, the
I
other thing I
dropped
noticed.
Happy.
Yeah, yeah, you mentioned
Reggie
fairies.
Cushion.
Yeah, you had like because you have like Victini, and then like we have Victini, Klefki, and Weezy as your fairy resist, right? And I think if you have, you
Yeah,
don't want to always use Victini as your fairy resist. Of course, you want to be a bit more offensive.
exactly. Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
you
I
should
just
use
felt
fairy
like I
resist.
would just go into Victini way too much and then just get chipped down. So I just rather
Yeah,
have something
that makes
that's a
sense.
bit more reliable.
I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
But
I think one thing this team does really well is open some of the mons up that have like a weakness in, like, for example, Serp is not the menace it used to be, but Victini and Kamo help it. And for example,
absolutely, yeah,
Victini and Kamo themselves aren't that fast, but then you have Serp which can glare them, or you have Gyarados with like DD can
yeah, or torn with
be
like
the late game
tailwind.
recon.
That was kind of like my idea behind like my offense. It was just so that everything's just able to support each other pretty
Like
much.
even if it doesn't feel like you have like a massive mon, I mean Coco is
Yeah, it's
obviously really strong, but even if it doesn't feel like you have a massive, super strong threat, um, I think it doesn't really matter on your because your team
mm,
like helps each other enough to like do that. You just gotta play it more slowly instead of like in 20 turns you win.
yeah. I definitely feel like I did experience a bit of like burns from like snipes, and I kind of maybe made some more like reactive picks rather than sensible picks in terms of like picking mons, value mons in terms of like the point at which the draft was at. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I could have waited on Klefki a bit more. Maybe Serp. Like Serp's I can not Serp because I know someone else wanted Serp. But I feel like maybe that's why this team kind of like doesn't feel like super threatening. But
I think
So you're
your
gonna
offense
hate.
overall is pretty good, but
yeah,
I think defensively you don't have like the most like immediate defensive mons, but you have mons that can sort of fulfill that role defensively if they need to certain weeks. Like Como can always act as sort of defensive. You can even put Coco defensive if you really want, or Mega Garrus can be a bit more bulky. Like you have options to go a bit more defensive with some of these
yeah.
offensive mons, which are nice. Um, Jordan, do you have anything else?
No, not really.
No, I was expecting Jeremy to shit on me a lot more because he had me pretty low. So I was expecting to get like some fucking essay on why my team's shit. But I'll take this.
No,
I'll take this.
I think it's just
It's probably because of the
it's
coach.
because like
That's probably it, to be
it's a
honest.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think it's
I
like
can't
a
even argue
Snipes
with
team.
it.
I just think it's like Snipes team. It's just like very balanced, you know? It's a very balanced team. It just helps each other a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so we'll move on here. Moving on to number 5, we have Babalno and the Dunsparsenal FC. His team consists of Tornadus Therian, Tapu Lele, Infernape, Metagross, Amoonguss, Mega Titar, Gastrodon, Golisopod, Mismagius, Wigglytuff, and the Xurkitree. Um, I had the pleasure of playing this team week 1, and I absolutely hacked the fuck out of them. Um, but do any of you guys want to start on this team, or shall I?
I have 1 point, and it's Tornado Spherin is the only removal.
Yeah,
That is my
that is very. I agree with
Um,
that. I agree with that. It's very
I
sort
I
of.
really like every single mon on this team except for Wigglytuff, which just feels slapped on because he doesn't win against Dragapult at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wigglytuff isn't awful because it's like a ghost immunity which isn't weak to fighting, which is nice with Mega Tito, and it's like
Okay.
cheap, you know. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's the worst pick ever. And
yeah,
it's
no, I
not
don't think
like
it's bad.
it's not like he's leaning on it as his fairy type because he has like
No,
Lele.
it's not.
So I think
I
it's
think
actually alright.
I think the first four really work well together, especially like Lele and Meta just getting like giving each other boosts.
Yeah.
Um, Amoonguss and Gastrodon are decently good at like defending themselves, especially with
Mm.
Soren and Metagross like assisting them in that. Like Megateeter even because Megateeter is very bulky. And I think Glycopotamus Maggies are a little bit underrated as well. So I just like the team overall.
Yeah, I think it's pretty high. I think it's had a team at 3. Maybe it's because I played it week 1. I don't know, but it has to mention the fact that Torn's the only remover. But to be honest, like playing against it, it's really not that weak to hazards. Torn's basically going to run boots a lot of the times. Golisopod, I think, is a very good boots user. Very potent with that. He's got stuff like I guess Lele and Fernape, which don't really appreciate hazards, but it's so offensive. I feel like that if he plays it offensively early, very well and correctly, like it's just going to put him so far ahead to the point where hazards are almost I guess irrelevant to be honest.
Yeah. But I just feel like the option of like, oh, I have to run defog on Torn because otherwise because my opponent has Hazard Stack. Definitely like hurts Torn a lot, especially because it's like his first pick.
Yeah.
It just like if he had like another good remover, then I feel like the shackles are off with Torn, and I think this team can like function a bit better.
I think it's a bit tough though, because unless like he brings like the passive core of like Gastron and Mungus, I don't think this team's like the easiest to go. Oh, I'm just gonna quick spikes versus this mon.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with
Hmm.
that.
yeah. It's just a bit. I feel like you just get put so far in the back with how much offense he has. I think Lele and Fernape as a duo together is pretty solid to be honest. He has some good momentum with Infernape and Torn GSU turn into Lele. Puts on so much pressure. Lele obviously isn't, I guess, as good as it used to be. Obviously with the psychic terrain nerf boosting the damage not being as boosted, but it's still very strong. If I'm being honest, it's still
Yep.
a very good mon.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really liked all these mons. The only thing I thought was maybe like he could do something different with like Wigglytuff circuitry and trying to find something different there. But I mean, maybe this was the best that was left. I don't know. It's sort of a niche thing, but maybe he can do something better with the last two. I don't know. Circuitry's okay, to be honest. It's an okay mon now. Obviously no Z moves, but
It can do bits at times.
it can still do
It
okay.
can do bits.
Yeah, it has some coverage for ground types, at least with like
Mhm.
ball and stuff. So it can still do some things. So I mean, I think it's a really solid team in general. That's why I kind of put it so high.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, do we
I,
have?
I I know about you, but I feel like Lele or Infernape might be pressured on Scarf a lot on this team. Uh, just
Mm,
just something about this team.
I
I
can sort of
mean,
see
those
it
are
because
usually.
I can see it because Lele. What I drafted Lele a bit ago, and one of the things about it was obviously with psychic terrain, can't really use priority moves. Well, you can, but terrain cannot be up to use
Yeah.
it. So you sort of feel like, do I run priority? Am I gonna be put in a situation where terrain's up and I need to bring this mon in to click a priority move and I can't? It is a bit tough sometimes because it's sort of like you don't know exactly how the situation's gonna come up. But I don't think it's something that I guess bash the team for. I still think you can run priority just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean he has like Scarf Circuitry is pretty good if you can run it. Somebody thinks maybe it's not that good, but yeah, maybe
Mm.
I can't see maybe you are pressured to run maybe Scarf Ape a few times, which Scarf
Yeah.
Ape's fine. I think it's a
Yeah,
decent set.
it's fine.
It's pretty fun
Yeah,
as it looks.
yeah.
But yeah, setup Ape is also very potent though, so maybe you do prefer to run that. I don't have much else. I think it's all around just really good.
Yeah, I think this team's pretty solid. I think he's not his lesson from last season that Gen 8 mons like completely suck, which is like last season I think he drafted mono Gen 8. Well, not mono Gen 8, but that was a lot of Gen 8 mons.
He had a weird
And this time
season. Yeah.
he's like steered clear of it completely. He's like, yep, none of that, please.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's drafting mons that sort of use Gen 8 changes as well with like Weezapod, Torn Boots, and I think Miss Major is actually pretty good now too. It's not like as like his Pursuit Trap is dead now. I think it's actually a pretty decent ghost. You can spam Shadow Ball, to be honest.
You know who we should ask this opinion this draft?
Who's this? Who's this? Who should we ask?
Agronauts. What do you
What?
think of Pabalno's draft? Tell us.
What, is he in the call?
He's like, no,
Oh, I didn't.
he's like,
I guess.
he didn't say a word. He just left.
OBS doesn't tell me when people join. Okay.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's everything. You want to move on to number 4 team?
Sure.
All right. So moving on to number 4, get on the wire. Where we have Rye with coach of the Washington Braviaries, and he has the team of Mega Mawile, Latios, Toxapex, Obstagoon, Buzzwole, Gligar, Moltres, Diancie, Lantern, Motherwater. To be honest, when I did these rankings, between like numbers maybe like 12 through like 2, I suppose, like I could switch all these teams around. To be honest, I put this team pretty high up. I think I had it at number 4 exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I still think there's problems with it. Mainly it's speed, to be honest. It's what his fastest one's it's Latios at 110, and I think that could definitely be his hindrance. It's also only 10 mon team, so you can sort of almost call every week sort of probably what's going to come. Only a few mons you have to leave out. Very solid mons in here like Mega Mawile, Latios, very very good core offensively. Latios obviously now very good with no pursuit in the game. And it also gets access to stuff like fighting coverage, also some fire coverage with Aura Sphere, Mystical Fire. Definitely very potent. But yeah, the speed is very worrying on this team, especially when maybe you are pressured to run something like Scarf Latios to try and revenge some faster stuff, because you don't really have any other decent options for Scarfers. Maybe Buzzwole, maybe for a Scarf. I don't know.
Buzzwole
Yeah.
doesn't really run that well, like Scarf. Doesn't change.
Yeah. His scarfers are pretty bad, and the speed isn't great. I think that's like the. I think that's the biggest
I
reason
think
like this team
usually,
isn't
like,
like higher up.
I usually like draft very slow teams. Like my last season team was pretty slow too. Like the fastest one I think was Gengar, which is the same as Latios. The only difference is that my team, like your team just needs to have like good, like if it is slow, it needs to at least have good speed control, and that's just it doesn't have it. Like on mine,
No,
like it
not
doesn't
at
have
all.
good Scarfer, it doesn't have good priority except for Maw. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't like work that way. Other than that, it's like a very solid team, I'd say. But I just don't see how he's gonna get away from people abusing his speed at times.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much where this team like falls apart. Um, I think it's kind of generous. He's got fourth. With like speed tiers as bad as this. I think that also kind of says a lot about the other teams. But I think at the same time, like if he actually does fix the speed tiers, I think this team's like really really good. Um, I think the only other issue I have with his team is I think that's his only rock resist is Morwell,
Yeah,
which
it's
I
not the
think is
best.
kind of meh.
Yeah, it's not the best. Even though like he has 10 mons only, and so like he's only leaving 4 out most weeks. So every week he's probably gonna be able to fit a rocker into the team. But I don't think mons like I personally don't like Gligar's okay and Dynasty's okay. But I don't personally rate them as like super reliable rockers. And you obviously don't want to run mile with rocks every week. You obviously want extra
Yeah.
slot for something extra offensive coverage. So um, yeah, but they're still decent rockers. So they'll do the job. They'll get the rocks up for sure. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, he's got very good offense. Obviously, Mawile, Latios, Obstagoon, very solid. Pex, super disgusting, super annoying to deal with, of course.
Yeah, despite how slow it is, like there are a lot of monsters just like really, really like difficult to switch into.
Mm-hmm. Moltres,
So like,
obviously, with Boots now. I think he's actually very good at Boots.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, yeah, Buzzwole. Buzzwole's pretty interesting mod. Some people are actually really late. Obviously, no HP flying. I don't think that was really its biggest problem in Gen 7. In fact, HP flying wasn't even
uh,
a thing. But um,
I think the fact it's got CC is really nice for it as well. Just being
yeah,
able to
that's
like
true.
have a really powerful fighting move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think the
Yeah.
problem with this team, and I think it can like Metacham just feasts. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I can see that. I can definitely see. It's got to bring like what Pyop,
as an example,
Pyop, Toxapex, or I don't
psychics
know.
in general really annoying for him to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's opposite for like fatter psychics like Reuniclus, but even then, you have to get it in, like actually get it in on like he can't throw it in on a focus blast like randomly and
mm.
predict, and then it just dies, and he doesn't really have an answer except for maybe Maw that can kill it with like knockoff. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
I think Meloetta is an intelligent pickup in terms of that otherwise his team would like get completely destroyed by ghost types
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
with like
he's vulnerable.
fighting coverage.
yeah, and
Actually,
there's
like
So
Obstagoon.
I
Yeah.
do respect that pick a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Meta is a very underrated mon.
Do you think he might have to run Meloetta pirouette like more than usual because of its like iffy speed?
That could be an option. To be honest, I didn't actually think about that.
Yeah, you
That
can.
could be an option. It's not the most reliable, but actually, it's not bad. To be honest. Um, yeah, I don't know. Uh,
It's
uh,
very
uh,
strong if you can get it off. While getting the sleep from Relic Song. Like if you can get that a little bit of luck on your side, then that's a threat. Like
mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
big ass.
I think despite all the weaknesses this team sort of has, I think some of the front lawns are just super good to where if he plays well early, he can get sort of not like negate weaknesses, but he can play around it to the point where he already puts himself in a position where they just don't not as relevant because of how potent stuff like Maul Wild Latios is. Um, but I do see potentially sort of maybe setting up an end game for his one con could be annoying, but maybe gotta beat Speed Scarf Latios or something because he's not got a good mon in the back that he can just sort of just send in and just win. To be honest, unless the team's also against it's like super slow or something. Um, he's just not got that speed, which is the point that we keep going back to. Of course, just this team would have if this team had speed. It's basically goaded. It's very good for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally all down to the speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. are we good to move on to number 3 here and top 3?
Sure, sure.
All right, so moving on to the top 3 of the best of the worst teams. Uh, we have. Okay. Well, I didn't know this message was here, but apparently we have good old Chessman and the Memphis Zizzlies. He doesn't have a crammer. Do I even need to read off his team? Like,
No, just don't bother. Just don't bother. I know Chaz is like skipped to his part, and like last season, I am gonna say doo doo team, doo doo coach. Can we move on?
yeah, I'll read it anyway just for the viewers.
Sure,
They need to
sure,
know.
fine.
He's got the Mew, Hydreigon, Terrakion, Corviknight, Mega Beedrill, Suicune, Mudsdale, Clefairy, Blacephalon, Ambipom, and a Bellossom for some reason. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm part of his team right now, and it's a pretty interesting team overall.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think about it. Jules. I think the first 3 picks have like pretty decent synergy between them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like Hydreigon Trakon's a pretty good like offensive core, and then you pair that with Mew, which is like nice.
The
I
most.
don't know. I think like Corviknight round 4, I think is like really good value in terms of, like the point which you got it in the drafts. The fact that Corviknight was still there was like really nice, and I can definitely see like Mega B fitting in with like what he has already, and I think he used Mega B pretty well in the Poison Point season which he had it. So
Yeah,
be
and
interesting to see.
they go to
I think
Suicune in round 6. I think that's pretty good to be honest. Suicune typically goes, I think typically round 4 or 5 to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised Suicune was still there to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good pickup for him to be honest. But then, I mean, after the Suicune pick, I don't really know how I feel about it. I mean, they're decent mons, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. His team just, I don't know. I feel like his team's just gonna be kind of predictable all of the weeks.
Yeah,
To be honest.
I can see that. I think Blacephalon is interesting now. No pursuit in the game. I feel like it is a bit of a sleeper mon to be honest. I feel like.
I definitely agree. And like people say, like I've heard people say that hidden power, no hidden power hurts it, but ghost fire
Specifically.
coverage,
Yeah, that's pretty good
unless
against
you're
those
facing
teams.
like Snorlax, like that kind of goes in on like most
Yeah.
teams.
But
So
Snorlax can't really
I
pursuit
think
at them anymore. You can maybe wisp it or
exactly
do something
right.
like that. You can play around it to be honest. I think.
Yeah, you can even like I think it's trick as well. So you know a lot of things to lax. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Persephone could be cool on this team.
Yeah.
I
And
think
yeah, probably need like another fairly fast one as well.
I
So
think the big problem with this team, and that is excluding Mew because Mew is just that versatile, and you don't want to run defensive Mew every week, is that the defensive core is Corviknight, Suicune, and Mudsdale, and it doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
Suicune, Corviknight are just really weak. Like they're both weak to electric,
yeah,
and of course Mudsdale like covers for that. But like for example, like Coco can just grass knot you, or like Xerxes, which is also picked up, Energy Ball. Hits both Suicune and Mudsdale, so you can like kind of go as a mid round too if you want that. And Clefairy isn't gonna come to all the games.
yeah,
Like it's a good niche mon for sure, and it's a good niche fairy. Um, but it's not like that good of a defensive one. Mew obviously is very good as well defensively. I'm not gonna uh, devalue that, but I think you should always look at a team without like as if their Mew isn't there and just see it like that because the Mew itself is always going to be good,
Mm-hmm.
like whatever role you put it in.
Yeah, for sure. His rockers as well. He's besides like Mew, he's got like Clefairy, which isn't coming weekend, like Terrakion, Mudsdale, and I don't think Terrakion's really the best rocker to be honest. I think it wants.
no,
No,
I don't like his
So I
Oracle
mean,
that much.
so he's got to bring basically Mudsdale, or he's got to put rocks on Mew. The team isn't like I guess need has us up. It really focuses a lot on sort of Beedrill momentum with like Hydreigon U-turn, Corviknight U-turn. Now
Yeah,
things like in U-turn, he wants probably most of the time keep rocks off his side as preferring to setting them up. He would of course like to set rocks up, but I don't think that sometimes his rockers just I don't think are gonna have the best matchups to be honest.
yeah, I agree.
Because like the first 6 are very good mons. Like it's like
Mm,
you can just bring that 6 probably every week and it could perform
yeah,
really
yeah,
well. But then you gotta put rocks on Terrakion or Mew. Like that's sort of just what it comes
yeah,
yeah.
down to.
It just doesn't like sometimes you need to really like not go for your top 6 mods in the game and just go for your niche mods because it just helps more
Hmm.
with matchup. For
Yeah, for
example,
sure.
like a fairy can help a lot for this team with Dragapult. Like a Dragapult is a threat if you look at like the whole team, and then you look at
Oh
Fairy, it's
yeah,
like yeah, that helps it a lot.
yeah. I think every team's pretty good Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's
Yeah, I
so
think
good.
that is perhaps what we have learned from this. Dragon Ball's a very good pocket monster.
And Dragon Ball hasn't been shown yet, so it might tell you what
Where
what
will
it's
it
saying.
be? Where will it be? Hmm.
uh, do we have anything else to say about the number three team here, or should we
Uh,
move on
I
to?
I think I think it like I think Corviknight is the only bird spam check, which I mean it's a really good bird spam check, but versus something like I don't know Moltres, um,
It is. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
could be a bit of an issue. And then I guess he has Bucephalon, but his only real ice switching to me is the Coon.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Do we think, like, I guess he has the Mud Sails here, but do we think he's a bit electric weak? He's got the Mud Sails is really his only immunity, I think.
Basically, electrics with grass knots, I think, are
Yeah,
an issue.
that
Either
looks
way,
yeah, that looks pretty good versus him.
I mean, either way, like any electric can really like melt his team pretty much. Like
Yeah,
even Mudstill doesn't come to every game, and if it does come, it can get worn down
yeah,
pretty easily.
Yeah, I think the issue is more because his grass knot's blossom that's just
yeah,
prevalent.
yeah. I just feel like the second you see no a team preview, the second you see no Mudstail, you just instantly know. Okay, Volt Twitch spam. Like that's what it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
It is resisted Hydreigon, which Hydreigon defensively, honestly, it's not terrible. To be honest, I actually like defensive Hydreigon, but you definitely prefer it to be offensive. So,
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, and like, yeah, he has Bucephalon actually. I was gonna say I don't like his special offense, but yeah, with Bucephalon, that's fine.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I think Blacephalon on this team is very Blacephalon in itself is very sleeper, like you guys have said. On his
yeah,
team, it's actually really good. Like Mew, Hydra, Terrakion, and Beedrill all really help it offensively. Like those five are really strong offensively.
I agree. Yeah,
And
I definitely agree with that.
hmm yeah. If he plays around his strengths pretty well, I think he'll be executing. He sort of just make sure his weaknesses don't really come into play. I think it's a
Yeah,
pretty good team, personally.
yeah, I also really like the momentum on this team. Like he has a lot of monsters who can just get like things like Bucephalon, the Beedrill, even like Hydreigon, Terrakion as well,
Mm,
which I think is very nice.
for sure. Yeah. All right, so we'll move on here. Fuck you, Chef. Still, anyhow.
Yeah,
Um,
what we know you skipped your parts.
so, and you're definitely gonna click off the video right now. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's already probably clicked it off.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. All right, so moving on here to number two, we have Jester. I mean, Jeremy the Goat here, uh, with the Goat Gender United. His team consists of cool logo. Mega Gallade, Garchomp, Tapu Fini, Greninja, Snorlax, Skarmory, Uxie, Alolan Marowak, Stunfisk, and a Vileplume. Jeremy, do you want to maybe talk about your team just really quickly first, and what your general thoughts on it? Obviously, you've only used it 1 week. Maybe have some just sort of initial
I
ideas how you feel
really,
about the team.
I really like this team. I think, I mean, it's not like a lot of these mods I don't use a lot or haven't used a lot, and I'm not really comfortable with. Like I don't like in the past I've not liked Garchomp or Gallade. Um, and I just I'm looking at it and I'm just like, yeah, this team fits like each other really well, and I don't see a glaring weakness
Mm-hmm.
like immediately. Um, so for my first two picks, I got Gallade and Garchomp. I was, I think, eighth in the
Yeah,
eighth in the so
I think you're right
Gallade
in
getting
line.
Gallade is pretty decent, and then getting Garchomp back is also really good. I'd say because Garchomp is very valued right now. I think Fini is one of the best defensive water types. Uh, Greninja is very good as a water type, and it's a speedy dark, which is really good. I want to Weavile, but Gren worked just as well. And then you have a very good uh, supportive defensive backbone with Finny, with Snorlax, Skarmory, and Yuxi, who just kind of like help each other out in every part, and a little Marowak, which can just break a little bit more. And from there, I just looked at my team and I was like, okay, what am I weak to? And I was like, okay, I'm very weak to flying. I'm gonna get Stunfisk because Stunfisk and, for example, in Infernape as well can just very much be annoying to my team. Yes, I have a Skarmory, but for example, Returnatus can heat wave me. Um, Returnatus really doesn't appreciate the Stunfisk with static, so you're really block like you're not gonna be freely U-turning on my team, for example, with that.
Mm, for sure.
And
I think I hope the Boundless are watching this.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked
That's
realistic and
what
figured this is a style. This is something I would use for one.
I just think
Uh,
there's no Batmon on my team. I just think it's
yeah,
at
I can
every.
see that. Yeah.
there's a whole Skarmory right there.
I
I
think
think
Skarmory.
Skarmory
No, no,
fine on this.
Skarmory's fine on this team. I don't have an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Uh,
Yeah, I really like this team. I actually put this team number one. I think I was the only person that put it number. I just
Yeah,
don't
has
really.
told me to not be biased. I would have put this team number 2 or 1 myself, but I put it a little bit lower because of that. But
mhm.
The
that,
anti-bias. I see. I see.
I
but
think I had something about this team. I can't remember what it was. Let's make it come to me. Um, hmm.
I can look it up. You had him at number two.
Well, I know. I'm trying to think why I didn't put him at one. There must have been something. I can't remember what it was.
Where do you see a Dragon Ball on this team? I don't see a Dragon Ball on
I
this
don't see
team.
a Dragon.
That's the reason. That was it. Thank you.
Yes, there you
I think
go.
Snorlax was a key pickup to be honest, because
Yeah, I was gonna say if you didn't pick up Snorlax, this team like hard loses to Ghost types. I still do think Snorlax is very pressured versus Ghost types, but
I think it
like
depends.
it's a really
It,
reliable
I think it
good
really
trick.
depends because a Dragapult, for example, I think Dragapult. This is one of the worst matchups for Dragapult it's gonna have in the season
mm,
Yeah, I can see that.
because
Yeah, I
Mew
could
pressures
definitely.
it, Snorlax pressures it, Skarm even pressures it a little bit, like the physical set, and it can't really run Will-O-Wisp uh, properly against my team.
Mm,
yeah.
So
I just really like this team in general. It seems like
yeah,
you sort of ticked. It looks like you just ticked off all the boxes. It looks like there was almost no snipes to be honest, and yeah, you just got sort of everything you needed, and it just meshes well together.
yeah,
So
I think I didn't get sniped a single time except for Weavile, which
yeah. Which
kind of frustrated
inadvertently
me.
meant I got sniped on Greninja.
Uh, I
Uh,
had the option of instead of a little Marowak to get Darmanitan, but I really liked the ghost typing and a lot of the like mini roles that a little Marowak can fill, like the lightning rod or the
yeah, lightning
break.
rod's key, I think, because you don't
yeah,
always want to use like Garchomp or like Halfling Skunfisk for like an electric
yeah.
challenge.
It also means you're not really bolt beam weak as well, which I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
really big.
And two things that people noted to me was that a little Marowak really likes momentum, and I didn't really have that much momentum. But I've seen other people use it, and I literally went through like Hikers replays in like one season he had with a little Marowak, and he didn't even have momentum except for Rotom Wash on his team, and he never volt switched into a little Marowak. He just hard went into it most of the time, and he just claimed a kill or put up rocks or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it needs momentum with this style of team to be honest. You have already some great offense, and Mac or Royal Merrick's just sort of a bonus just there, and it can put you
I think
somewhere, but you don't have to turn and do it all the time.
Ghost typing that it like I think Ghost is just a broken typing.
Hmm.
Um,
I would agree.
one thing I do think
Yeah,
my team is a bit um lacking in is speed control because obviously I have decent speed with Greninja, Glade, Garchomp, but I don't have a good Scarfer, really.
Yeah, you sort of have to
yeah.
control
It's
Chomp or
basically
something.
Chomp Bren pretty much. I also think like Stunfisk can be like decent like speed control to like static and like being able to like power things like discharge and Thunder Wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is if Missy Terrain isn't up.
I also
Or
think Valbloom is a little bit underrated as a
yeah,
whole.
yeah. I like Farplume a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It does everything you sort of needed to do. Good poison, good grass.
Mhm.
Has some good utility to it. Yeah. I think we're done sucking your dick to be honest. I think we
Thank
just
you.
move on to
Yeah,
the next one.
I need to find something else that's bad. Hold I have a question for you, Jeremy, about your team.
Yeah.
Why do you call yourself Go Tinder United? You call yourself Jeremy Digo, and you're not even the number one team. I mean, that's just false advertising right there.
I mean,
I think you just need to admit right now you're a complete fraud.
if you didn't tell me to put my bias aside, I would be number 1.
Well, that's just really vain at that point. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
I mean, I tried to put my team lower than I thought it was,
Yeah.
like intentionally. So
Yeah. All right. I think we'll move on to our final team here now. So at number one, we have good old Cheater Toad here with the
Boo.
Boston Bulldors. His team consists of the Brokemon Dragapult, Mega Medicham, Rotom Wash, Scizor, Crocodile, Talonflame, Alolan Muck, Cresselia, Togetic, Blissey, and the Mon that's just the best, Maracas. Makes this number
Miraculous
one.
gang. It's funny how this is the number one team. I have so many complaints about it.
yeah,
Please, let's start then. I actually want to hear. I'm curious.
Okay. So I feel like this team was going in a pretty good direction. Like I liked the way he was going with it, and I think the first couple picks were really nice. I think like Dragapult Mega Medi is just like amazing like synergy. Together, just beat them being able to like break down their checks. Um, Wash Sizzle is like really good like momentum into both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Crooks are solid mon. Talonflame's like good like speed control. I think a lot of Muck is like really crucial. I know that it's double dark, but I feel like that's like really big in terms of like what ghost
Mhm.
types really gonna be able to check both of those.
Yeah, and Medicham is obviously it doesn't want to like run double edge.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's like it's nice for this. It means that like even though he has a Dragapult, like is isn't like as pressured to deal with the psychics.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I mean, I can understand the Cresselia pick, but then I can't really understand Cresselia with Togetic and Blissey.
Dude, this is such a hiker toad kind of draft. It's literally like either you get momentum and like kind of pivot kind of mons like Rotom Wash, Scizor, and then like a Dragapult. Like those kind of mons are like very much like hikers. Or you have
Yeah.
Skull with like a Lulamuck, Cresselia, Blissey. It's like which one do you want? You get both this time. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I think this team just doesn't appreciate good electric type as well.
I
Um,
can see that.
Oh yeah, Coco can definitely be a little annoying to
Yeah.
him.
I think the reason
yeah,
I had this,
if
I think I had the reason I had this team at number one. It wasn't necessarily because it's something I didn't like about Jeremy's team. I just feel like this team just it feels so like easy to almost execute and like he drafted so well around Mega Medi to the point where it makes its job just so easy to come in and break. Like Scizor and Rotom are probably the most easy probably the ease like Rotom Watch probably the best one of the best Volt Switchers, so easy to click Volt Switch. And Scizor's
yeah,
probably one of the best U-turners. It's so easy for them to click their momentum moves and get into Mega Medi. Like it just feels so good. They're both great defoggers. He has
great.
decent hazard setters. Well, he's got what Karuk and I guess is it Blissey? Those is rockers, which I guess
Yeah,
isn't the best, but
yeah,
I think Krug's pretty free to put rocks up to be honest.
yeah.
I
Krug's
feel like
fairly reliable. Blissey, it could kind of like drain the momentum in like certain aspects.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was just my main point. Is just that it just feels like Mega Medius doesn't have such a fun time with this team to be honest, because it just feels like it's
Yeah,
so
oh
well
for sure.
supported. That's why I sort of felt like this. I noticed some weaknesses to it, but I think sort of just the bonus as to how well Mega Medi is able to be used in this draft just outweigh it to be honest. And of course, there's a Dragapult right there, and that's
the
Yeah,
first broken draft. Come
yeah,
on. One thing I must say is that Dragapult Medi is just insane.
yeah. That sounds
Like
disgusting.
yeah,
Dragapult
for sure.
takes care of like all the psychics, and then um, if there's like a normal type that like for mm, like Wigglytuff is a random mon, like a niche mon that's like, oh yeah, let me draft it just so this Dragapult needs to have Steel Wing, and then Medi's just like, no, you're just gonna die. Let me tell you, like it's super strong offensively. And he has a lot of good pivots, but then at the same time, I got a lot of bulk you gotta account for. Like especially Cresselia, you also need to have taunt, for example, for it usually, or like toxic, and even then he has really good clerics. So I just think a lot of this team support, like you said, it supports Medi really well. Not only that, it supports each other a little bit, um, like in a way that it makes it so everyone's like every mon's job just gets easier because of the other mon being there.
Yeah, I can maybe see it being like kind of weak to ice, maybe
Mm,
a bit.
Scissors and Rotom are decent, to be honest.
Yeah, they are decent resists. And then also Wash is kind of pressured to be the only like flying check, which I think isn't amazing when you have a Mega
Right.
Medicham.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's his only resist. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scissors. Yeah. I have something else.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna John W. V Sky you. I'm gonna SD Scarman against you, bro. Watch out.
What was one point I was gonna make? Oh, one of the things I look for in sort of teams is sort of like how many different sort of modes like it can take on, and like
Oh
different styles
yes.
it can take. And I feel like he obviously got Drag Pult, Mega Many, which are obviously very offensive mons. And then he has the Scizor Rotom, which can sort of be meshed to do like whatever it wants, and then he can sort of take
Yeah.
any of the last 7 that he has, so you can just do any type of mode for certain games. So you could bring Crest Wussy, and it's just super fat, really in the break, or he brings a bit more offensive mons like Krook and Talonflame or whatever it is, right? Like he has different modes, which I think is very valuable because if you have sort of just singular modes to how a team functions, it becomes very predictable for one. Also becomes very boring. You just can't really be creative with your teams and like what you bring in your sets. And I think just having this sort of the mons that are very sort of diverse in what they can do and be able to transition to do one or the other thing is just very valuable.
Another criticism I just noticed is that I feel like his highest. I know he's a Dragapult, but I feel like his highest speed's kind of meh.
Yes, it's got Talonflame in between, and that's it was a
Yeah,
Talonflame.
then it's Medi, and then it becomes Crook. Like Crook's his third fastest Scarfer, which I think isn't amazing.
Yeah, but Maractus should be there to just clean
Yeah,
things up.
exactly right,
Well,
right.
let's do predictions now. Do we think Maractus will come to a game this season?
I honestly I feel like it's gonna get dropped. um,
How many
I
points
could
was it?
like I think it's 1 point.
1 point.
Well, I mean maybe it doesn't. I feel like maybe Haikuto can make some changes to his team and just make it like even better.
Yeah,
I know it's another one team, but I definitely feel like this team has like more potential if he's like able to make some trades.
yeah, for sure. I don't. I
You know, I have to be honest. I don't think I've ever been this negative to the number one team,
mean,
but like it's still gonna get so many wins just because of the first 4 months,
well,
pretty
Maybe
much.
we should put me at first then. IMO.
Bro, Jeremy's ego is insane.
we had
Me move him down
we had
if you ask.
JP at first. We had JP at first. He's the real
Yeah,
number one.
JP was the
JP was
true top of
He's the real number one thing.
PRs.
Yeah,
Sorry, Hokatoad.
yeah. I just.
sorry, Haikachu, but no sorry.
All right.
No.
Do we think as well he's gonna bring Hydro Pump on a legal mon at all? Like what mon? Do you think?
Yeah. Okay. What mon does he bring Hydro Pump on? Blissey? I don't know. Blissey looks like it pump stuff out.
I think Maractus could bring it. You never know because they got like what?
Oh yeah, it's a cactus. It has it stores of
Maybe
water.
Scizor? Like it already kind of has like a pump. Like look at it. It's like as if
Yeah, he
it's
could
gonna.
shoot water out of that.
That's true. That's true.
Or
Yes,
maybe he'll
yes.
bring a different illegal move and just surprise us all.
Or he's
Yeah.
gonna purify the sludge out of a little muck.
Maybe, like I said in admin chat before draft, maybe he'll bring Poltergeist Dragapult or whatever that move's called.
Oh yes, Poltergeist. Yeah.
Maybe he'll just bring that, and it's just
Well, I
awesome
mean,
for us.
he got confused because of the name. Of course he should get it. Or maybe he's gonna like bribe sports again and make sure they like mess up their thing.
That could easily happen for sure.
Yeah.
Do we want to?
Haikuto cannot be trusted.
Do we have anything else to say about this cheating
Uh,
situation?
Nothing other than JP's team is the true number one. This is all. This is all a lie.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Hakuto, you are actually a number. What was he? 13 team.
For sure. So I think it's gonna wrap it up. I don't think we need to. Is there anything else we need to say? Is there anything else?
We get a recap at the end.
Okay,
We go over.
I can go all the way back. Let me head all the way back to 16 here. All right, so we'll do a quick recap here. Of course, at number 16, we had Coach Oak. At number 15, we had Techno. Number 14, we had Parksy. The true number one team, but I guess quote unquote 13.
The true number one.
Number 12, we have Dave. Number 11, we have Ian. Number 10, we have Spoink. Number 9, we have good old TC. Number 8, we have your shit commissioner, me. Number 7, we have Stib, Stibe. Number 6, we have also Shit Admin Has.
Awful.
Number 5, we have Bobono. Number 4, we have Rye. Then we have Fuck You Chessben. Then we have good old Just a Penguin at number 2. And then rounding off with good old Cheater Toad at number 1. Definitely bribed me.
But actually, the number 13 pick.
Yes, but actually number 13 because JP, of course, is the true number 1. The Maractus just brings this team all the way down to number 13. Do we have any other just final notes to end off the video on, guys?
Not really. Actually, if you're still watching, which I'm sure 2 of you are, because everyone just skips to that bit and then just doesn't listen to the rest of these, even though we spent hours trying to prep for this. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Yes, I'm very excited for this season. I think it's probably one of our best seasons, most seasons I'm excited for sure. Jeremy, do you have anything to say?
Check out the DGBA podcast.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, of course. Don't forget to
plugs.
subscribe. We're gonna definitely try to pump out more content.
Yes.
And I'll just have PRs and nothing for the rest of the season.
Yes, so yeah, we'll probably also have PRs for the other divisions, which you can check out.
Yeah. Will we have them for Swarmvo? That's the question.
Who knows? Check out the podcast.
Who knows?
Subscribe to the DGBA channel. Join our server. Should be linked in the description. Subscribe to Parksy. That is the main thing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,